the high 40s, would you say, or mid 40s? That's mid 40s. Hold it away, you moan boots.
The college season winds down, and it's bowl time. Tonight, the spotlight is on Memphis, Tennessee, and LSU coach Bill Arnsparger brings his 9-1-1 Tigers, led by quarterback Jeff Wickersham, the school's all-time passing and total offensive leader, to face the 8-3 Baylor Bears of Coach Grant Teff. Senior Tom Mickey was the top passer in the Southwest Conference this season and leads an explosive Bear offense, averaging 390 yards per game. It's the Tigers and the Bears next. Raycom Sports presents live from Liberty Bowl Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee, the 1985 Liberty Bowl Classic. Tonight, the Louisiana State University Tigers face the Baylor Bears in the 27th renewal of the Liberty Bowl Classic. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Federal Express, why fool around with anyone else? And by GMC Truck and your local GMC truck dealer. Check the yellow pages for the dealer near you. It's a beautiful night for football in Memphis, Tennessee. A balmy 46 degrees as the LSU Tigers of the Southeastern Conference get ready to take on the Baylor Bears of the Southwest Conference. Hello again, everybody. I'm Merle Herman to call the play-by-play, and with me to analyze the action, Coach Bud Wilkinson. Bud, these offenses are different, but the bottom line at the end of the season was about the same.
That's correct. The concepts are entirely different. Baylor tonight will go from 22 formations, use a man in motion a third of the time. They have the press box coaches analyze the defensive adjustments and then go with those sets that appear to be the most effective. They play a lot of men. 2 quarterbacks, 2 offensive lines, 8 running backs, 8 wide receivers. Try to stay fresh. And this pattern of offense has averaged 390 yards per game. Now, the LSU attack will look much more similar to you attacks that you're used to see. It's a tailback offense built around a great quarterback who has the classic drop-back moves, the rollout, the bootleg, complemented by great running backs and a fine offensive line. Great balance between pass and run, and they have averaged 389.5 yards per game. That's just a half a yard different than Baylor, so you can't be any closer than that.
No, sir. Also in the booth with us tonight to analyze the action is the former collegiate and pro linebacker, Kevin Kiley. Kevin, both these clubs have very effective defenses.
They're great defenses, Merle, and LSU is a linebacker-oriented defense that gives up just a shade over 10 points a game. You know I love it, linebackers, and why not? They've got an All-American, Michael Brooks, a leader. If you run at him, he'll knock you down. If you run away from him, he'll chase you, catch you, probably knock you down anyway. Remember one thing, that LSU has only played one other option team this year, Mississippi State. They beat them by 2 points, but they had an awful time with State's offense. They gave up 464 yards in that game. Now, Baylor, they have their secondary is really the strength of their defense. They have 2 great ones. Thomas Everett, he's an All-American, and Ron Francis, who led the Southwest Conference with 6 interceptions this year. The strength and probably the key tonight, the 2 big defensive tackles. They've got to stop that great LSU running game. And I'll tell you, tonight, Merle, points are going to be hard to come by.
And both these teams just barely missed winning the conference championship in their league. Southeastern Conference, LSU, Baylor, the Southwest Conference, back with the Liberty Bowl Classic after this.
Pontiac.
That'll be young Jack up for the weekend.
Probably driving that new Pontiac he was talking about getting.
Prestige car.
Young Jack? Nah, performance car.
Baloney. Young hotshot like that want prestige.
Your hat. Guy's a car nut. Performance.
Prestige.
Got me a new Pontiac Grand Am, boys.
See? Told ya.
We build excitement, Pontiac.
This bud's for all that you do. You keep America going. You keep the juices flowing. You are the muscle, the hope and the hustle. You keep the country growing, and you make America work. And this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
Boys got what it takes. Full tilt, all out, holy flakes. Nothing halfway, nothing sweet. Just a great big crunch of good whole wheat. Yeah, hey, banana, move aside. These big flakes got nothing to hide. Wheaties, Wheaties, good whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
All you gotta do is smell the coffee, splash on Old Spice. Now you're moving, isn't it nice? Standing tall now, you're doing it right. Pour out a handful, splash on some spice.
Nobody sends more guys out there than America's favorite, unmistakably masculine Old Spice.
Now you're moving, don't think twice. Splash on the feeling, splash on some spice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 19... And now, introducing the world-renowned star of opera, supper club, and favorite of Memphis, Marguerite Piazza. Please join with her in singing America the Beautiful.
Beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain.
Miss Marguerite Piazza, Metropolitan Opera star, resident of Memphis to the national anthem. And we'll be back after these messages from your local stations on the Raycom Sports Network. We're awaiting the coin toss to get the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl Classic underway. As you can see, Baylor has brought out a lot of co-captains, and referee Otho Kortz has got a real job if he is going to introduce all the players.
He got it, too.
LSU has won the toss. And let's see what Baylor's option will be.
Put your back in the bowl when you want to kick it.
All right, the officials, Otho Kortz of the Big Ten, the entire crew is out of the Big Ten. That's Grant Tapp in his 14th year as the head coach of the Baylor Bears, and he's done an outstanding job. It's a beautiful night here in Memphis. We mentioned the temperature in the mid-40s as we came on. It has been cold, but a very comfortable 46 degrees and a very slight wind out of the southwest at 6 miles an hour. And this is just about ideal football weather for the Baylor Bears, who have won 8 and lost 3 in the regular season, and for the LSU Tigers, who won 9, lost 1, and tied 1. Baylor just missed winning the Southwest Conference title in a loss to Texas at the end of the season, and Coach Bill Arnsparger's Louisiana State Tigers lost only to Florida and tied Alabama during the regular season. The officials are all from the Big Ten. We mentioned Otho Kortz will be the referee, Bob Pickens, Bob Colburn, Tom Hoffman, Michael Sheehan, and Tom Klein, and an old neighbor of mine, Bill Carollo. That is Tom Mickey, and you're going to be seeing a lot of this young man tonight. He was the Offensive Player of the Year in the Southwest Conference, and as Bud mentioned at the outset of our telecast, Baylor will use the tandem quarterback system, and he will be talking more about that a little later on. It'll be Matt DeFrank to kick off for LSU. He's a sophomore from Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And going back deep for the Baylor Bears will be Derek McAdoo and Randy Rutledge for the return. And we're all set to enjoy the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl from Liberty Bowl Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. And we're underway as the line drive kick goes down the sideline and out of bounds. And that will bring the ball back, and a 5-yard penalty will be assessed, and we will have another kickoff. Now, Bud, does that take a little bit of edge off the start of a ball game?
The thing that you're most concerned about are the coverage men. They're going to sprint down the field. That one went out of bounds so quickly that it didn't really have to run the full distance. So when they run the full distance and the kick goes out of bounds, they come back, line up, have to cover again, and they're not quite as fresh, not quite as aggressive.
Bill Arnsparger has won 17 games in his first 2 years as the head coach of LSU. Last year, he took the Tigers to the Sugar Bowl. This year, he has them here in Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. Once again, Matt DeFrank will be kicking off this time from his 35-yard line. Derek McAdoo and Randy Rutledge, 2 fine return men, are back for Baylor, and we'll do it again. This one comes right down the middle of the field. It'll be taken on the 5-yard line by Derek McAdoo. McAdoo brings it out across the 25 and is dumped at about the 26. Brought down by Johnson, number 45, a 21-yard return, and let's go to the Baylor offense.
And their backs are outstanding. Mike is a starting quarterback. He'll be backed up by Carlson. Both running backs are good, and they have a lot more. Their wide receivers are excellent. Foran's a tight end, also a good pass receiver. And their offensive line is the key to the game, of course. Addicks at center and the right side of the line. Bates and Cochran being the key men.
Pruitt and Clark are the wideouts, coming to the right in a slot, and it's first down and 10. McAdoo and Sargent are the running back, and Mickey goes up to the top on his first play of the ball game and completes a pass to the 33 as Matt Clark is on the receiving end, and Norman Jefferson, number 12, the weak cornerback from Aurora, Louisiana, to make the tackle. Now let's look at the LSU defense.
That defensive line primarily to keep those linebackers running free. Henry Thomas has 2 block kicks, so we'll look for him in special situations. Michael Brooks, a great player, has 8 sacks. He leads the team, and 2 interceptions, but the other linebackers are excellent also. The guy to look here is Norman Jefferson. He has 3 interceptions on the year in the defensive secondary.
Okay, Kevin, McAdoo gets the call. He is at the 35, and Toby Caston, number 69, the weak side linebacker out of Monroe, Louisiana, on the stop, and they're short of a first down by a yard or so.
And this is what really Grant Teff hopes to have happen all the time. He loves that third down and short because it gives them a chance to make a big play either with a run or a pass.
He comes on with a tandem offense, as he call it. They go to a power eye, and Stockamer, who is the short yardage tailback, is into the ball game now. And Stockamer scored 6 touchdowns this year. In fact, he scored 1 off of the short yardage play, and he's got the first down with plenty to spare. You could almost bet that Stockamer will get the call, and he did. And Chris Carrier, the free safety, number 11, knocked him down after a gain of about 6 or 7.
Great job by the short yardage offense. Attica and Kyle Lane on a super block on the middle guard. Henry Thomas, number 96, they pushed him right off the ball and created a lane on the left side, as you can see there, and they were able to pick it up. They've made short yardage 86% of the time this year, so Baylor can run from the short yardage situation.
Ben Baker is in, split wide to the left side as Mickey on the option is going to keep the ball and gets near the 45-yard line. LSU's Sean Burks, number 57, the strong linebacker out of Baton Rouge, makes the stop just short of the 45-yard line in Baylor territory, where it'll be a second down coming up and 7 yards to go.
And I think that LSU is most concerned about the option offense of Baylor than they are any other part of their attack. They've used it effectively. They run the veer option, and they have the 3 options, and they usually pick the one that is the most wide open.
Darnell Chase, a world-class sprinter, is now in as a wide out for the Baylor Bears, and they go to the draw. And it's McAdoo right up the middle of the midfield stripe. Just about at the crown of the Liberty Bell. Eric Hill, number 54, makes the stop.
If your offensive line can really drive off the mark, as you see Baylor doing here, they knock everybody back. It's a draw play. The LSU team trying to get back to the passer was able to be turned by the offensive line. The daylight was there, close to a first down.
And again, we have a third down and short, and Stockamer is in that power eye, strong to the right side. Stockamer into LSU territory, and he may be a little bit short. If he made it, it'll be by the nose of the football. If he missed it, it's got to be an inch or so. Good reaction by the LSU defense.
Yates is the back that sets to one side or the other. As we see Stockamer coming in, there's not as much daylight as he's used to seeing, but he's a strong back. Even though he's a tight end, he drives in there hard, lowers the shoulder, and now we're getting the measurement to see if he did pick up the first down.
Any part of the ball will do it, and down go the sticks, and yes, he is short. And Baylor is faced with a fourth down and short. And let's see what the Bears do here early in the ball game with 12 minutes and 7 seconds left to go. Grant Taft has a wide open offense, and he is liable to do anything.
Got great confidence in this tandem attack on short yardage, so they're going to go for it even though it's early in the game.
And it's near the midfield stripe, but just barely in Bill Arnsparger's LSU territory. Stockamer is the tailback of the power eye. Stockamer dives over the top. It looks like he made it. He gets near the 47-yard line in LSU territory, and that would be good for a first down as Sean Burks, number 57, the all-SEC selection, makes the tackle. And he is quite a performer.
We'll take a look at the tandem offense again with Stockamer lined up at tailback. Comes straight ahead following the block. There's a Mac in front of him. It dives, gets up in the air, falls forward, picks up the first down.
Well, Thomas, the nose guard, but he gets pushed back a little bit, and what happens? Watch 57, a linebacker. He gets off his block. He's trying to get over there, but Burke can't get there because Thomas has been pushed back in his way, and Stockamer is able to get over the top for the first down.
Mickey on a flip, coming back to Sargent, and the LSU defense reacts, led by Michael Brooks, the All-American, number 94, and you'll see plenty of him tonight. Norman Jefferson, another All-Southeast Conference selection, coming up to help out, but Brooks, 94, usually needs very little help.
They plan to run right at Brooks some tonight because normally a man who covers the field as well as Brooks does doesn't stay home very well. And if you run right at him, he's not used to taking on direct blockers quick.
A loss of 3 yards, and log that to Michael Brooks. Horace H. 23, Leland Douglas 17 are now in the Baylor lineup as the wideouts as they continue to change. Mickey straight drop, throws to the far sideline, completes it to H. And H dropped the football, but let's see if the reception was good or not. It was not.
Very close. We see Yates starting downfield. Looks like he's going to go deep. He stops short quickly. He's open. The ball is thrown right on target. He doesn't quite look it in, doesn't lock his arms around it. Is hit. The fumble comes out. Incomplete pass.
And credit Kevin Guidry, number 27, the strong quarterback, with a very solid hit there. They started the drive from the 27, the Bears did. They had the ball on a third down and 13 from midfield, and Mickey going for all of it on a post. It is intercepted by LSU's Chris Carrier, and he dropped the football, however.
It's a good thing he did drop it.
Oh, boy.
He was too close to that goal line. I don't think they're very likely to punt inside the 5-yard line.
And so the Baylor Bears, who started from their own 27, will now bring the punting unit on, featuring Buzzy Sawyer, an outstanding punter, one of the leading punters in the nation, who led the Southwest Conference last year with better than a 44-yard average, finished second of the league this year at 44.8, and Norman Jefferson is deep for LSU. Sawyer hangs it high and on the sideline, and it bounces out of bounds at about the 20, just inside the 20 in LSU territory. So we're going to see the Tigers offense for the first time in just a moment. We have a timeout with 10:38 to go in the first. The Tigers of LSU get the ball for the first time tonight, just shy of their own 20-yard line. Jeff Wickersham, who set 11 LSU offensive marks during his career, brings the Tigers to the line of scrimmage. Up over the ball is Todd Coutee. Pitch coming back to the tailback, and Hilliard is up to about the 24-yard line and is brought down by Derek Turner, 81, the defensive right end of Baylor.
Wickersham, the quarterback, being the key man, a 60% passer. And the wide receivers, Davis is averaging 15.1 yards, McGee 15.3 per reception, and the key man on the offensive line is Coutee. The starting center, Albergorn, is out of the game.
And the single setback is Dalton Hilliard. McGee is split out wide to the right side as Wickersham goes to Hilliard. Hilliard on a cut gets up to about the 28 and is thrown backward, but his progress will be marked near the 29 as Robert Waters, 44, the weak side linebacker, and Anthony Colvin, number 6, the right quarterback, make the tackle. Let's look at that defense now.
Baylor Bears is a good defensive line. Sheffield, Grumbine, the tackles. They have to play well. Turner is a great player. Berry is a great linebacker. Jamison has to play well in the middle for the defense to work. And a defensive back, Francis, has 6 interceptions, and Everett's the All-American.
All right, Kevin Kiley, and it's 3rd down and 1 coming up. Wingman to the right, Hilliard and James are the split backs. And guess who gets the ball? Dalton Hilliard. Who else? And Hilliard has a first down with plenty to spare at the 35-yard line.
I think that's the second time rather, that Waters has missed the tackle. He had the shot at him at the line of scrimmage or a little bit behind, but Hilliard's got that great little juke motion, ran right past him.
Hilliard, a senior from Patterson, Louisiana, has scored 14 touchdowns this year, an all-Southeast Conference selection, rushed for 1,134 yards, and needless to say is the all-time rushing leader at LSU, 4,050 yards for a career. Hilliard and James. Here's Wickersham to throw for the first time, incomplete, as he tried to hit McGee at the 40-yard line, and the coverage by Alan Jamison, 47, the middle linebacker. No score. We have 9 minutes, 8 seconds left to go. Merle Herman along with Bud Wilkinson and Kevin Kiley in Memphis, Tennessee, where it's a very pleasant evening for the 27th annual Liberty Bowl Classic.
Baylor has been the 3rd best pass defensive team in the country this season. They've given up only 117.2 yards per game passing, and that's awfully good.
Sam Martin and Raji McGee are now the wideouts. The motion man is Hilliard, and this time it is Barry James who gets the call, and he bangs up to near the 45-yard line, but he's going to be a little bit short of the first down. Thomas Everett, the All-America free safety, and Jack Hurd, the strong safety, stopped the play for Baylor.
A moment ago, we looked at the offensive line surge of Baylor. Here's LSU. The offensive linemen should beat the defense to the punch because they know when the ball is going to be snapped, and if they move with the quarterback snap, they can get the jump on the defense.
Tigers have that great running tandem of Hilliard and James, and here they are with 3rd down and short. It's Hilliard. Flags go down, and there's a fumble on the play. Baylor might have been offside, but might have been drawn offside. So we'll wait and see what the flag's all about. Craig Rathjen, number 13, as you see there, was in there, and it's an offside call against Baylor. So that will give LSU a first down on the penalty.
It looked like they jumped on the cadence because it was 2 players there's a player on either side of the line, and usually if it's movement, 1 player will jump, but you had 2 players jump together, and generally they'll do that when the quarterback alters the cadence. And of course Wickersham's been around a long time, and you can watch his mouth moving a little bit. See everybody jumping? That's generally, if there's 3 guys along the line like that to jump, it's because it's sound and not sight.
LSU first down, Tiger 49-yard line. Hilliard and James are the running backs. McGee and Davis are the wideouts. Jeff Wickersham, 6'5", 195 pounds, a Floridian. Once again, it is Gary James, but he cannot quite get outside as Robert Waters and Ron Francis, the weak side linebacker and the left cornerback, came up to make the hit in Baylor territory after a gain of a couple. This telecast is a copyrighted presentation of Raycom Sports, and any rebroadcast or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast without the express consent from Raycom Sports is prohibited. LSU, second down 8. No score, 7:51 to go in the first quarter at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Sam Martin is in as a wideout along with Raji McGee. And in motion goes Hilliard. Wickersham to throw, looks for Hilliard. There he is at the 45-yard line. He's down to the 44. Where it was Robert Waters who got him down, and let's check that. The receiver was Gary James, not Hilliard. You always look for Hilliard because you always look for him to get the ball, and he gets it so often.
LSU likes to throw to their backs. They've got great speed at wide receiver, but the bulk of their ball possession passing attack is to the backs coming out underneath the linebackers.
It is third down, a little bit less than 3, and Hilliard and James are the split backs and 2 wideouts. Pitch coming to Hilliard. Hilliard cuts and gets jarred at the 42-yard line, fighting for a little extra yardage and a possible first down, but Derek Turner, 81, the All-Southwest Conference defensive end out of Edmond, Oklahoma, number 81, stopped the play and tried to deny him of that first down.
Derek Turner is an all-conference player in the Southwest Conference. He's the right end, and you wonder why. Number 81 has got to be able to neutralize blocks on the corner for that defensive unit to be successful. Watch number 81. He has to hold his ground with 2. There's a guy fighting to get at him there, and he can't get at him. And Turner able to play off the block and get under the ball carrier Hilliard. That's a super job by Derek Turner. If he can do that, they're going to go the other way.
And Turner was also injured on the play, and he is still down. He took a severe jolt with that tackle in the shoulder. There's no score in the Liberty Bowl, and we'll return to Memphis right after this. Ball game as the defensive right end replaced by Paul Lee, number 92 for Baylor. Fourth down and short. LSU going for it, and they fumble the football. It looks like Baylor has recovered. Gary James coughed it up, and Ron Francis, a running back a year ago, and now a defensive quarterback for Baylor, number 11, recovered it. So the Bears have it first and 10 at their own 40.
LSU has fumbled the ball 34 times this year. They've gotten back, I think they've gotten back 14 of them, so they've lost 18 of them, make it 19. That's kind of unusual for a team that is not an option-oriented team. Now, this is a straight handoff to James. Good penetration and a great play. I missed his number there. He got his right hand on the ball and popped it loose. And Baylor is very opportunistic. They have great confidence, and they feel they can get a turnover when they need it.
Tom Mickey on the option goes to Jackie Ball, and Ball is up to about the 44, and Chris Carrier, number 11, the free safety from Eunice, Louisiana, right there to meet him near the sideline. 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go down the first period, no score. But
and against the veer, someone has got each of the men, the handoff man, the quarterback if he keeps the ball, or the pitch man, and that time they had all of them covered extremely well.
Horace H. has brought the play in for the Baylor Bears. John Simpson, a world-class sprinter, is split wide to the left for Baylor as Mickey on the option is going to pitch to his tailback, and that play won't go as Jackie Ball is cut off of the pass, and very effectively by Sean Burks, the strong linebacker, number 57 from Baton Rouge.
All right, when your defense in the option, especially at linebacker, what you've got to do is penetrate. Now, Hill, he has to make a decision here. He didn't, but the quarterback pitches it anyway. Mickey, the other linebacker, I think it's Burks, comes up, he gets penetration, and makes the tackle. The most important thing against the option defensively is to force him to make a decision instantly so your defense can react. LSU did it on that play.
On third down 7, Ben Baker and Matt Clark are the wideouts, and Mickey on a straight drop under a rush, fires away, incomplete, near the midfield stripe. The coverage by Norman Jefferson and Robert Williams coming out of the backfield could not hang on to the football, and the punting unit will come on for Baylor. And that means Buzzy Sawyer in for his second punt of the night.
That was the second pass that Baylor has dropped, and Mickey threw the ball right on the numbers again. They're going to have to catch those balls. Against this defense, if you drop passes, you're going to have difficulty moving the field up the field against LSU.
So on fourth down, Buzzy Sawyer from Waxahachie, Texas, an all-Southwest Conference kicker, will punt it away. Guidry and Jefferson are deep for LSU. Good kick, and the ball is going to roll back into the end zone just barely, and so the ball will come out to the 20-yard line where LSU will have it First down and 10, but we had a flag on the last play, a 57-yard punt, if it stands. So let's see what the flag is about. Otho Courts of the Big Ten, the entire officiating crew from the Big Ten Conference. LSU indicating the penalty was against Baylor. We'll check it out. Here comes the decision.
Well, this game could very well come down to a special teams play or a field goal. I mentioned earlier that LSU was giving up just a shade over 10 points a game. Baylor gives up about 15, and any kind of small mistake that resulted in 3 points could cost one of these teams the game, because it could very well be a 3-point game.
A clipping penalty signified against the Baylor Bears, and right now Sean Burks, 57, one of the co-captains of LSU, in there discussing the situation. Burks, by the way, was just recently married. In fact, just the last day or so, wasn't he? So let's wish him well, and congratulations on his marriage.
Very emotional football player, a great leader, not the best athlete on the team, but as far as the impetus given by leadership, he's the team's best.
Here comes the 15-yard walk-off, taking the ball out to the 35-yard line on the clipping call. Grant Taft, the head coach of Baylor, has been named Southwest Conference Coach of the Year numerous times in his 14 seasons as the head man of the Bears. And Bill Arnsparger, an outstanding job at LSU, coming from the Miami Dolphins, where he was the defensive coordinator and assistant head coach of the Dolphins.
And starting from the 35 instead of the 20 is a vast, vast difference. You feel that you can use any play. You can be relaxed about what you're using on offense because you've got enough field position to give you the impetus.
The Baylor Bears start to make substitutes now, and Grant Taft will do that. He will do his offensive line, for instance, in a full unit. He does not hesitate to do a complete switch with the offense and also the defense. Normally he would play 4 tackles. He would have Sheffield, Grumbine, the starters, and then Crouch and Green. But right now, while the discussion goes on, let's take a timeout with 5:36 to go in the first quarter. Back after these messages on the Raycom Sports Network. It's a good one away, going back deep, and it's Patterson on the return, and look at him go. One man left. He gets by him. Norman Jefferson, touchdown LSU. Norman Jefferson running one back all the way on the second punt. A 79-yard return, a 50-yard kick, and LSU is on the scoreboard first, and now we have to go back and explain why that Baylor had to kick over on that penalty, on the clip.
They had a dead ball fall when the kick went into the end zone. The clip was called. They moved the ball back, the clipping penalty, and had them punt the ball again. It was a great kick, but also a marvelous run back by Turner.
Ron Lewis for the extra point try. Doug Powell, the quarterback, is holding. LSU on the scoreboard first, and now leading by a score of 7-0. So the Tigers draw first blood on a tremendous return, 79 yards. Let's look at it.
And you can see that Turner catches the ball here. He gets one good block, and now he gets the wall of blockers. They pick up everybody, and he's got great foot speed. It's a foot race now. Sawyer comes over, try to get to him. He doesn't hit him hard enough to knock him out of bounds. He maintains field position, takes it into the end zone, and he's signaling number 1 all the way.
Coach, I played a lot of special teams, and what you have to do, you have to stay in your lane, and these guys overran it. You also have to go, you have to make sure that you stay shoulder to shoulder when you go down the field. Jefferson pointing at people as he runs down the field. That shouldn't happen. And now when it becomes a foot race against the kick returner, generally your big guys, look at the numbers, 89, 56, you're never going to catch that guy. That's a great, great run back, but probably more a lapse in the special teams and not keeping your position for Baylor.
Couple of great blocks along the way by Toby Caston, and also LSU went into the end zone. Cody Carlson is now the quarterback for Baylor. This is his first series. From the 20, he pitches back to McAdoo, and McAdoo is shot out of bounds after a 5-yard pickup by Chris Carrier, number 11, the free safety. And guess who? Michael Brooks, 94, the outside linebacker who roams the field.
Tell you what, Merle, on that play, Michael Brooks forced the pitch by Carlson and then made the tackle. I've never seen that before. He was the guy that made the quarterback give the ball up. He ran down the running back from behind. That's some speed, acceleration. That's everything you want from a linebacker.
Brooks, a two-time All-America. He's only a junior. He made everybody's All-America team this year. Baker and Douglas are the wideouts. Split left and right for the Baylor Bears on 2nd down and 5. Cody Carlson pitches. He pitches the ball forward, and that made it a forward pass, so it's incomplete. Michael Brooks right there.
His timing was bad on that, and he lost his poise for a moment. By the time he realized that he wanted to pitch the ball, the receiving back, trailing back, was in front of him, and so even though it looked like a fumble, it was really an incomplete forward pass.
Coach, that's right. I noticed, too, the back was in front of him on that. What do you suppose happened? It looked like when he went to pitch it, the back had already passed him.
He was way too slow making up his mind.
Okay. Quarterback's fault on that?
Yes.
3rd down 5. LSU leading 7-0 on a 79-yard punt return by Jefferson. Eights and Douglas are the wideouts for Baylor. Cody Carlson at quarterback. Throws back over the middle. It is completed for a 1st down to McAdoo coming out of the backfield. He's across the 30 and dumped at about the 32, possibly the 33-yard line. Eric Hill, 54, there to make the tackle. And he gets help from Jackson, the safety man, Greg Jackson, who sometimes is the nickelback. It is a 1st down on the 32-yard line of the Baylor Bears, and we have 4:21 to go in the first period in Memphis.
And that's the 3rd 1st down by the Baylor Bears. The only time that they didn't make a 1st down was after they had recovered the fumble.
Now the Bears go slot to the left with 2 burners, Chase and Simpson. They can really fly. Let's see what the play call is. Carlson option, Carlson back to pass. And he's got a man wide open. That is Simpson, or rather that is Darnell Chase, and the foot race is on. Simpson down to the 10-yard line. Simpson and Chase were both out there, and it is Simpson who winds up with a football on a 58-yard pass play.
The thing that sets this up is the handoff fake, or the option fake. You see Carlson start to the outside, looks like a handoff, then he stops, drops back. LSU has reacted as though it were a running play, which sets up the receiver wide open. Simpson's got this world speed, but he can't quite turn it on quickly enough when he is forced to cut back to the inside.
And you saw Darnell Chase looking for somebody to block there, but he just couldn't get to him. 1st down, 10-yard line. Baylor Bears on the move now. Carlson pitches to McAdoo. McAdoo to the 9, fumbles the ball, or did he? Eric Hill, 54, the freshman from Galveston, Texas, made the tackle. He's playing the outside linebacker spot tonight in place of Ron Sancho, who had a great year. He's had a high temperature here in Memphis. He will not play. He did not suit out, so a big load falls to Eric Hill.
The scouting report must show that LSU is wide field conscious, because Baylor has tried to go to the outside from the narrow side of the field. There's just not much room there in college football.
Clark and Eights to the wideout. 7-0 LSU. Eights split to the right side. Carlson keeps the ball himself and is brought down to the 6 by Michael Brooks, the All-America linebacker, number 94. And you see him everywhere. Henry Thompson, 96, the nose guard, who's also an outstanding big play man, helping out on the defensive play.
When you get down this close with the LSU defense actually becomes more fun, I think, when you're backed up to your own goal line, because deception doesn't work that well, and they really got to pound it in on you so you can pound a little bit back, and I think that's what LSU is doing right now. It's a gut check. You just get up there and you got to defeat the block and try to keep that guy from going forward.
Slot to the right side. 3rd down, 6 at the 6. Cody Carlson looks at the defense, wants a timeout. Jefferson's punt return with a way of 79 yards is a new Liberty Bowl record. So Grant Taff does not want any mistakes here, and Carlson takes the timeout as the Bears are down at the 6-yard line with a 3rd down coming up against LSU. Tigers on top, 7-0, 2 minutes, 37 seconds left to play in the first period. And again, what a break in the weather today. It was gorgeous in Memphis. The temperature up in the 50s, 46 at game time.
Very wise time for Carlson to take time out. This is obviously the most important play of the game thus far for Baylor. They got the 1st down on the 10-yard line after that great pass. Pretty good gain on 1st down, stopped on 2nd down, and this is the big one, or they're going to be forced to go for a field goal.
If you're not acquainted with the Baylor tandem quarterback system, Cody Carlson and Tom Mickey are so close in talent. that Grant Taft 3 years ago alternated them on plays. Each play, he changed quarterback. Then he started to change by series. Now it's every 2 series. So Cody Carlson, who is a junior from San Antonio and will be the #1 quarterback next year for Baylor, is now running the offense. And this is what the combined effort of the Baylor quarterbacks have done this year. Pruitt and Clark are the wideouts in a slot right, 3rd down 6 for Baylor. Carlson, and it is caught for a touchdown by Matt Clark, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. Norman Jefferson had the coverage, a 6-yard touchdown pass to Matt Clark from Corsicana, Texas, and it's 7-6 LSU.
That was a beautiful pattern by Clark and also a great throw by Carlson.
Baylor made no bones about that. They came out in a spread formation on the goal line. Don't see that too often. And Coach, you're right. That was a perfect pass. And Clark, 29 receptions, 540 yards coming into this game, made a super catch. You can see why he's had so many catches.
And the great pass protection also by the Baylor line. Carlson had a lot of time to throw the ball.
Freshman Terry Seiler from Wichita, Kansas will do the kicking for the extra point, and Matt Clark will hold, and Seiler's kick, we got a flag, so let's see what the flag's about. The kick was good if the play stands. We have a penalty call against LSU.
Should be too many men on the field.
Yeah, we had 12 men on the field for LSU.
Bill Armsparger's really upset, as you can see as we glance at him there.
Playing on the defense. The kick is good. Penalty on the kickoff.
So it's a tie game.
Seiler has not missed on an extra point all year, and we take a look at the replay of the touchdown, and you can see Carlson's checking signals. The man goes in motion. It's Clark going in motion. He's got a lot of time. Clark is back, moves back toward his own thrower, keeps his back shielded from the defender. Clark makes a fine catch on a great play.
That was pretty good coverage, too, there.
Excellent coverage. If he hadn't been coming back toward the quarterback, no way.
7 plays, 80 yards, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. It took the Bears to tie the game.
Pretty impressive drive by Baylor, Merle. Baylor, it really takes a lot out of you when you give up a special teams touchdown like that. When Jefferson ran all the way, made it 7-0, supposed to be a defensive game. Baylor put it right together. Great drive.
59 yards on that pass helps.
Yeah, it sure did.
You know, I think that was a perfect example, seeing Cody Carlson come in and run the offense so effectively. A perfect example of what we've been talking about the tandem quarterback system. And Grant Taft says he doesn't feel there's any drop-off when either man is in there.
Well, and by playing them 2 series in succession, he feels that they get a little more feel than if he alternates. If you don't make a first down, you're only in there for 3 plays. So if you get 2 series, you know you're going to have enough chances to really put something together with your own skill.
Jim Mueller, who handles the long kicks for the Baylor Bears, kicks this one to the sideline. They're going for an onside kick. Baylor may have a recovery, and Baylor does have a recovery inside the 10-yard line at about the 8-yard line. And it was Johnny Thomas, number 41, but wait a minute, did they have possession?
I don't think they ever had possession of that. That was as pretty an onside kick as you've ever seen, where they're going to reverse their call now.
A question of whether Baylor had possession as the ball went out of bounds, and apparently Johnny Thomas did have possession. One thing about Baylor, Grant Taft always has a wide open game in mind.
I think that hit an LSU player. I think it was on its way out of bounds, and it hit an LSU player and carromed down the field, and then Baylor got a hold of it. And whether or not they had possession, I think is the product of this discussion right now.
Baylor thinks they have.
Yeah, and I'm sure LSU is sure they didn't.
A premature celebration. We don't know yet.
Well, the officials get over in a huddle all by themselves, and Otho Kurtz, the referee, getting the opinions of the other officials on exactly what happened there and whose possession really belonged to.
Well, the first signal, Merle, was LSU's ball. Very emphatic. He called it LSU's ball, said they did not have possession, and evidently from the reaction of the Baylor players, somebody reversed it. And now they're going to talk about it.
2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. A tie ball game at 7, and we've got a good one underway for you in the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl. Originated by Bud Dudley in Philadelphia, moved to Memphis after 3 years in Philadelphia, and it's been an extremely successful bowl game. And you can tell from the reaction of Grant Taft which way that call is going. LSU will get the football.
It appeared what happened was the ball might have been resting on the back of one Baylor player. Another was running down the field behind him. I don't know that either one ever had it.
He said he never had it. Don't let him. Look at it. I had it. You cannot do that to a football team.
You cannot do this to a football team, says Grant Taft.
I think he's right. As we take a look at the replay, you can see the beautiful bounce of the ball. And Baylor hits it.
Oh, great play.
Absolutely, they had it, and Baylor's got possession now. And maybe they probably ruled that he didn't ever have possession, but they obviously did get the ball touched after it had gone 10 yards.
Well, here we go. Great shot by the camera guy here, and I don't think he ever did have it. There's two players fighting over it. I can't pick out their numbers. Number 24 is one for Baylor, and the ball just gets kicked out of bounds. That's a pretty good call by the officials. A tough call and a pretty good camera shot.
It's our football. Well, you can't run it if you possess it.
All right,
my man said you did not possess it. It was a legally touched kick that went out of bounds. So when it went out of bounds, it'll be the receiving team's ball. That is what's told to me, and that's the way it's going to be. This man right here. All right, let's go.
And I think the referee did call it correctly. The Baylor touched the kick legally, but they didn't ever get possession of the ball. So the decision is correct.
Isn't Grant Taft chairman of the Rules Committee?
Yeah, but he can't change that call.
Bill Arnsparger, a very quiet man and a very gentle man, takes the ball and takes the situation in hand here at the 8-yard line. And Jeff Wickersham has a single setback in Dalton Hilliard at the 8-yard line of LSU. And Hilliard falls down at the 5-yard line. Looked like a little bit of mix-up there on that handoff.
Well, it's Robert Gossett and Johnny Thomas are the two players that are involved. Now, this is a great play here. The tipping of the ball is super, and now you got to fight for it. And that ball was never under control, and it did go out of bounds. And I can't. That's a super call by the officials. I can't get over that. That's a tough call to make.
On a loss of 3, second down, 13 yards to go. Jeff Wickersham, Floridian. Hilliard, tailback, 5 carries, 15 yards so far. Hilliard getting a little bit of running room, but making most of it on his own out to the 10-yard line, where Eugene Hill, 93, and Thomas Everett, the All-America free safety, come up to smack him down. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Tigers.
And he's got great body moves, shoulder moves. He runs by the first man almost every time, or at least he has thus far. When you're making a tackle, you ought to look at the belt buckle of the man with the ball, ignore the shoulders and the movement of the shoulders. You can't fake your belt buckle. Davis and McGee are the wideouts, Hilliard and James the running backs. Wickersham on a drop and looking, and the ball is batted up in the air and battled for it. It finally falls incomplete. Couple of chances to intercept there. Russell Sheffield, number 91, I believe, got his hand to the ball. Jack Hurd was coming up there trying to make that catch, and now we have an injured player for the Baylor Bears. There hadn't been so many Baylor men with a chance to intercept it. They might have made it. They were all fighting for the ball.
Well, one of the keys to this game was the interior line for Baylor, whether they could penetrate, and they're pushing the offensive line back and making the bat right there, batting the ball down on Wickersham. And the reason was because number 91 for Baylor, Russell Sheffield, who's that young tackle, one that we talked about, he and Grumbine, if they get that penetration and they're able to get their hands up, they're going to cause some problems.
Anthony Coleman shaken up on the last play. They're still discussing that call, that onside kick call to the Baylor sideline.
They're going to keep discussing it for quite a while, and particularly at halftime.
Matt DeFrank is in to kick with 1:12 left to go in the first half, and Ron Francis from Lamarck, Texas, is back on the punt return unit along with Thomas Everett. So Baylor should come out of this thing in very good field position. Ron Francis led Baylor in rushing last year as a running back. Now is on the defensive unit as a quarterback. Frank gets it high into the air. Excellent punt. Fair catch called for by Thomas Everett, and he fields the ball in Baylor territory near the 47-yard line of the Bears with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the first quarter. A kick of 43 yards and a 4.4 hang time. Very good. So the Bears with their offensive unit, and Cody Carlson will be the quarterback again. This will be a second series, and we thank you for that greeting, and nice to be here for the Liberty Bowl Classic.
If I was playing defense against Baylor, I think I'd go out of my mind trying to remember all the players, their strengths, their weaknesses. This can be very distracting to a defense, switching offensive units.
Pruitt split out to the white side, Douglas to the right side, Ball and Williams are the running backs, and the pitch is going to Robert Williams, and Williams is chased out of bounds at about the 45, maybe the 44-yard line of LSU. Run out by Chris Carrier, the sophomore from Eunice, Louisiana, at 6'5" and 205. He's a very big defensive back, and by the way, he snaps on the long snaps.
And once again, they ran the option play to the narrow side of the field, and it was effective.
And what was it Grant Taft said they would be doing tonight?
Running the option, because they haven't looked at it as much, and it's awfully hard to practice against. Bill Armsparger told us that too. The timing is so different.
Second and short, very short. Carlson going for it all. He's looking for Douglas. Great catch. Douglas pulls the ball down inside the 5-yard line of LSU as Leland Douglas beat Norman Jefferson.
Leland Douglas may have fallen on the ball, but when he gets up, he's going to be plenty happy. Again, the run fake, and against an option team, this thing can be devastating. Jefferson is waving at him. Douglas goes downfield. He had 17 catches in the regular season, makes a great one here. Now, when you play defense against an option team and they can throw the ball like that, you're in big trouble because you've got to get support from the secondary, and when they play action, it's really trouble for you. You really can't blame Jefferson. Now, here's Jefferson. He's back right away, but he seems like he's looking in the backfield. When Leland Douglas goes by him, you're looking at the ball here, but when Leland Douglas went by him, Jefferson never made a move. Didn't look like he had his eyes on him. That's a super catch by Leland Douglas, and Baylor has found a way to get at the LSU defense. That's play action off the option and up on top.
41 yards on that pass play to Leland Douglas. Carlson is now 4 out of 5 since he has come into the game. 113 yards and 1 touchdown. First and goal to go for Baylor. But
run that far, you stretch, you make the catch, and then you fall on the ball. That does take the wind away from you.
In this tie ball game, Baylor will bring in its tandem offense, meaning 4 tight ends, and Stockermer becomes the tailback in the power I on first and goal. And it is Tom Mickey who is in there now as the quarterback, and he runs the ball just about back to the line of scrimmage, where Eric Hill, number 54, the outside linebacker, makes the tackle.
Excuse me, Bud. Mickey's considered a better runner than Carlson, and that may be the reason he's in there on the goal line. They feel that Carlson is an excellent athlete, but that Mickey might just have a little bit of a shade edge on him when it comes to running the option and running the ball up in there.
He wishes that he'd pitched at that time to Eights, because he could have caught that lateral for the touchdown.
Second down, goal to go. Mickey is hit back behind the line of scrimmage. A great play by Michael Brooks, a linebacker. And now you're seeing why this man made almost every All-American team. In fact, he made every All-American team that really means anything. A 13-yard loss.
Quite often against the power I, when they go away, the outside backer on that side has a free shot to just come. That's his assignment, and that's what Brooks did, and he made the play.
And that play ended the first quarter. So we have a locked-up game, and Kevin Kiley with you at the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. And as we start play in the second quarter, Baylor with a 3rd down and 16. Cody Carlson back in the ball game, running and being trapped and thrown down on the 20. Michael Brooks, 94, on the tackle. He made the last one for a 13-yard loss. Henry Thomas, 96, the very active nose guard, helping out on the tackle, and it's 4th down for Baylor.
Brooks has got just unbelievable speed for a defensive football player, particularly a linebacker.
Thomas made a good play. Thomas got loose and was able to slow down Carlson, and Brooks caught up to him. And anytime you're running back there, if you get slowed down, you can expect Brooks to show up. He's got great reaction.
The field goal unit has come on. This attempt will be from the 27, which would make it a 37-yard effort. Terry Seiler, the freshman from Wichita, Kansas, his longest field goal of the year, 40 yards. Here's the snap from the hash mark, and this one is not going to be good. So, we still have a tie game. And we played about a minute in the second quarter. We have a tie here in Memphis, and we'll be right back. Flip quarterback. No score in the game. James in motion, and this is Hilliard. Outstanding run, but he coughs up the football. McGee fell on it.
Great reaction by McGee, just remarkable.
And Coleman right there on the stop for the Baylor Bears, and the ball will be set near the 24, and it'll be second down and 6 coming up.
It's a bad combination going on here for LSU. This is their 36th fumble of the year, and Baylor is known to cause fumbles at strategic times. That's one of the successes of their defense. That's just a great shot there by the defensive player with his hat on the ball.
Back to the live action. Wickersham throwing to the near side to McGee. And McGee is across the 30, has a first down to the 32, and Ron Francis, number 11, the left cornerback from Lamarck, Texas, makes the stop for the Bears. A gain of 8.
LSU has yet to prove they can move the ball offensively. They've scored on a special teams play, the punt returned by Norman Jefferson. But Baylor has proven that they can get the ball up on top and pass for big yardage. As you can see, LSU hasn't thrown for but 5 yards. Baylor 119. The Tigers have to establish something offensively in this game.
Davis, Martin, and McGee are 3 wide receivers, and they're now for LSU. Wickersham, counter coming back to the right side. That's Hilliard on a bit of a delay there up to about the 38-yard line. Byron Johnson, 39, the linebacker. Kevin Marsh, 97, the defensive end on the stop for the Bears on the 37-yard line of LSU. And it becomes second down and a little bit less than 5 yards to go.
It was a slow trap play, a little bit of a delay in the backfield, but the trap was very effective as they blocked Grumbine.
Dalton Hilliard, the all-time rushing leader, 4,050 yards at LSU, eclipsing Charles Alexander's mark. And Hilliard gets more yardage on this one, finding a hole on the right side up across the 45 to about the 48, but there's a flag drop. And that's a gain of 11. If the play stands, it'll be a first down. Robert Waters, 44, the weak side linebacker for Baylor, on the tackle. Holding call against LSU.
We talked about the 2 tackles and how well they have to play. Watch Grumbine here. He's had a great year, but he's got to look for that trap. See the man coming, the LSU player? That's the key to the play. Grumbine 77 blocked, and Hilliard, big runner room. But they're going to call this, I believe, a holding penalty on that. But Grumbine needs to look inside. When he's loose, he's not supposed to be. He has to realize that somebody's going to come and get him.
Eric Andelsek, the right guard from Thibodaux, Louisiana, I believe is a man caught holding there. It'll be second down coming up for the Tigers, second down 13. Raji McGee splits out wide to the left side. Jeff Wickersham, third leading passer in the Southeastern Conference history, sends James in motion, rolls to the left side, looks out that way, and completes this pass to McGee, and McGee picks up a first down near the 45-yard line. And Jack Hurd, the strong safety, yanks him down after a 14-yard pickup.
McGee made a very good move that time. Watch the middle linebacker, Jamison, dropping back, moving to the outside. He reacts to the ball, but he overruns it just a little bit. He's moving too fast to the outside, loses the leverage. McGee turns it upfield for the nice first down.
Sam Martin has brought the play in for LSU. He will act as a wideout. He also acts as a running back from time to time. Garland Jean-Baptiste is now in the backfield, and he is the fullback up in the eye, as it is James who gets the handoff, running behind a Baptiste block. Jean-Baptiste, I should say. And the ball is carried up to about the 47. Kurt Gore was the left tackle who gave him a bit of daylight to run behind, and it becomes a third down, second down, and about 8.
That previous pass play that was completed for the first down, nothing warms a coach's heart as much as recovering from a holding penalty and coming up with a fresh first down.
Wideouts to each side for LSU. Game tied at 7, 11:08 to go in the first half in Memphis, Tennessee in the Liberty Bowl. Jean-Baptiste in motion to the right, passes thrown to him, and he is at midfield, and Jack Hurd, number 16, the strong safety, cuts his feet out from under him as he gets into Baylor territory near the 48-yard line. He'll be short of a first down by about 2 to 3.
LSU beginning to open it up just a little bit. Now protection is extremely important here. It's good. As you can see, the Yellow Hats doing a good job on the green. And Wickersham rolling out to get a little bit of space, and he hits Batiste exactly where he has to hit him. Leads him just a little bit so he can pick up that extra couple of yards. And really very subtle, but that pass was exactly where it needed to be.
Ray Brock is down at center for LSU. The regular center, Nacho Albergamo, out of this ball game with a broken foot as Wickersham throws, and the ball is dropped by McGee. Little slant in, and the ball was there, hit him in the hands. He just couldn't hold on to it. It's an incompleted pass, and 3rd down and 3. Stay tuned later in tonight's telecast when we'll be selecting the Pontiac most exciting player of the Liberty Bowl. Pontiac will contribute $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the Players School. That's the most exciting player of the game, coming up at the end of tonight's telecast. Matt DeFrank, who is an all-purpose kicker, will handle the punting assignment. He's averaged 38 yards a punt this year. Thomas Everett is back along with Ron Francis for Baylor. This game tied at 7. Frank hangs it well up into the air, and a fair catch called for by Thomas Everett, who takes the ball inside his own 20. They'll mark it around the Baylor 17. And we have 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. Score tied at 7 after that 30-yard kick. Back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
To try to adjust to the movements and the differences in the Baylor offense.
John Simpson split out to the right side. Baylor goes to the run. And up comes Randy Rutledge to the 25-yard line, about 3 yards short of a first down. Sean Burks, 57, the strong linebacker, and Michael Brooks, the outside linebacker, on the hit for the Tigers.
If they can make the straight-ahead handoffs go, it sets up everything else in their offense, particularly the fake of the handoff, the fake of the pitch, and then the pass play off the running fake.
Coach, excuse me, Merle, isn't this a team that does everything to set up everything? They seem to just do everything at all times.
That's what they're trying to do every time, is make them come up with a defense that they're not ready to handle.
3rd down and short. Perry is, I believe, short of a first down, as Steve Rehage and Sean Burks, the strong safety and strong inside linebacker, make the tackle. They may want to take a look at this. You know, one of the things we haven't seen tonight, I don't recall seeing anyway, is the no-back offensive set for Baylor.
I think they're a little bit worried about getting a strong pass rush without any backs there to protect the passer if the blitz comes.
How close? That close. Short of a first down. Grant Taft getting a little coaching help with the sideline, but the punting unit comes on.
The Baylor center Addix is a key man in their offensive attack, and you can see the roll block that he makes here. Just takes the nose man Thomas, turns into the outside, opens the lane, and the ball carrier comes through for a short but important gain.
What should the nose guard have done, Coach, to avoid that?
He's got to get on balance, move back, and get higher than the offensive center when he rolls.
Ooh, heavy traffic. Buzzy Sawyer kicking. Fair catch called for by Norman Jefferson, who returned 179 yards for the LSU touchdown. And the Baylor Bears have good field position, or rather the LSU Tigers have good field position at their own 40-yard line. 34-yard kick by Buzzy Sawyer.
I was a little bit surprised they didn't go for the tandem offense and try to make the first down.
8:23 to go in the first half. You following all that? That's what takes place on the sideline for the LSU defense, but right now it's the LSU offense, and the old flea flicker with Wickersham throwing long for Sam Martin, and it is broken up, and Ron Francis picks it off at about the 14-yard line. His 7th interception of the year.
That was Wickersham's problem. He had the receiver wide open, but underthrew the ball.
It's hard to imagine a defensive player making a play like this. I'm up on the line looking to make a tackle right there. For Ron Francis to have the speed, the intelligence, the reaction to get back here, and then the athletic ability to make that catch, I don't know, they ought to stuff him and put him on somebody's mantle. That guy's a great player.
That was Martin wide open on the play. There's a little flea flicker. Wickersham throws the ball. Martin is well beyond the entire secondary, but the ball is underthrown. Francis makes a great reach back to get it.
That's just incredible, incredible play.
First down on the Baylor 14-yard line. Rutledge and Perry are the running backs. And Tom Mickey throws and completes it to Glenn Pruitt. Pruitt has the first down at about the 30, maybe the 31. Norman Jefferson 12. The weak quarterback over there on the coverage, 17-yard pickup.
If your offense is having problems and your trick plays don't trick the defense, it's tough to go back to the bench and think about this. Now, this play is executed very well, and this pass, as Coach said, is underthrown, but not by much. The key to the play is Francis. That's pretty good defensive position, but on a flea flicker, it's incredible that he could get back there.
That's his second one-handed catch interception that he has made this year. First down. On the quarterback option, Mickey hangs on to the ball and is brought down near the 35 by Carl Wilson, number 72, the 6'4", 250-pound defensive right end.
This is the first time they've run what they call the counter option. You can see the quarterback turn, spin, starting in the wrong direction, then he comes back. The reason they're doing that is that they feel that the LSU defense reads and goes so quickly that if they can misdirect them a little bit with the quarterback's movement, they can make them stay home and make them easier to block.
Merle Harmon, Bud Wilkinson, Kevin Kiley with you. The 7-7 game, 7:32 to go in the first half of the Liberty Bowl. Mickey almost brought down behind the line of scrimmage, has a first down on this run, and goes down to about the 46, covered by Steve Rehage, number 7, the strong safety. A 12-yard pickup by Tom Mickey, who rushed for 273 yards this year, along with 5 touchdowns.
Believe it or not, when you're rushing the passer, as we talked about earlier, special teams are supposed to stay in their lanes. Pass rushers have that same responsibility. You don't want to get your pass rush overloaded or open a hole up the middle as they did for Mickey right there. Take a look at Ron Francis, made that great interception. Mickey was able to find a seam in the pass rush, and defensive coaches don't like that. They want you to stay in your lane so you have them surrounded.
The ball spotted on the 47. Wide to the right is John Simpson. Remember, he's the world-class sprinter who can really burn you. And Pruitt is splitting way out to the left side. Something wrong there. LSU scoring on a 79-yard punt return. Cody Carlson, a 6-yard touchdown pass to Matt Clark for Baylor. Game tied at 7, and this is Randy Rutledge who gets the run call. Michael Brooks takes the real estate away from him out on the sideline near the midfield stripe. And the clock is stopped with 6 minutes and 49 seconds to play in the first half. And they will spot the ball at the 49-yard line, still in Baylor territory, where it becomes 2nd down and 8.
And Baylor keeps attacking the short side of the field, going into the sidelines from the narrow hash mark.
Interesting stat on the LSU defense there. It is 2nd down 8. Simpson and Pruitt are the wideouts for Baylor. Tom Mickey is the quarterback. On the straight drop, he throws down the sideline. It is caught by Simpson, and he is pulled down inside the 10.
Simpson's a world-class sprinter, as everybody knows, and he simply runs right through the linebacker who tries to slow him up, then turns on the speed, and the pass is marvelously thrown. He tries cut back, and I didn't think anybody could catch him. I don't think they could if it were a flat foot race, but he had to make that little break, and that enabled the LSU defender to get over and make the tackle. And Simpson is down momentarily on the play. We certainly hope he's not banged up badly.
He's got a pretty good average tonight. 2 catches, 102 yards. That one for 43.
Well, Norman Jefferson's got to start feeling that after he ran that punt back, they start picking on him. Norman Jefferson's number 12. He's the guy that gets beat short. Safety doesn't get over there, and Simpson just flat out ran him. And as Coach said, he cut to the middle of the field, and that was the difference in the play. Jefferson, always hanging in there, comes and makes the tackle. But if he had gone straight or been able to go straight, they never would have caught him. A great pass by Mickey.
1st and goal to go inside the 10. Rutledge and Perry are the running backs for Baylor. Tom Mickey on a handoff to Rutledge, diving straight ahead, and he runs right into Carl Wilson, 72, and Roland Barbet, 77, the defensive ends for the LSU Tigers. Simpson getting some attention on the sideline.
Baylor was down here earlier in LSU territory. They did not score. This is an important drive for Baylor. If they get turned away here without any points, it'll be a little demoralizing for the offense.
5 minutes, 55 seconds left to go in the first half. McGee lays it up there. It is incomplete. Intended for Rutledge coming out of the backfield. And Mike DeWitt, the free safety, number 18, who's now in there from Laurel, Mississippi, was out there on the coverage.
Excellent defensive play. Good pass rush. He got rid of the ball, but receivers didn't have enough time to get downfield to get into their patterns.
5 minutes, 48 seconds to go. Grant Taft, 6 times named the Southwest Conference Coach of the Year. You know, when he came aboard at Baylor, there were some who suggested that the Baylor football program was down so badly that Baylor should get out of the Southwest Conference. Well, Grant Taft changed all that in a hurry. 3rd down. And a screen out to the right side going to Perry, and he is chased out of bounds by Mike DeWitt. 18, the free safety. Oliver Lawrence, 99, the outside linebacker. And it is 4th down for Baylor.
Now that the first time that they've gone with the screen, you can see Mickey dropping back, and the blitz is on. And normally when the blitz is on and you complete the pass, you're going to make something on the screen, but it was a marvelous defensive play, and DeWitt came up and stopped it for little or no gain.
Harry Seiler will try for the field goal. He is 11 for 14 this year. His longest shot, 40 yards. This will be from 23 yards out. Baylor going for the lead. A high snap, but Seiler gets that kick away, and this one is good. It is good, and Baylor takes the lead for the first time tonight with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the first half. Terry Seiler, a walk-on kicker that just...
Weakness, of course, that's it. His range isn't much, but as far as accuracy within his range, they just don't come any better.
Seems to be comfortable with extra points. He's got 31 out of 31.
That's within his range.
Yeah, I hope so. If that was too long for him, he'd have some problems.
Look at this yardage.
LSU looks to me like they can run the football. They've not been able to put together a drive with any consistency, but they've made some very decent plays. That their passing attack just hasn't gotten untracked at all, and since that's such a vital part of their offense, they've got to get the balance between pass-run to get the Baylor defense really threatened.
That could be tough, Coach, against this Baylor pass defense, which has been ranked at the top of the country most of the year. They were 1-2, and I believe they're 3rd in the nation right now. And remember Mississippi State, I talked about at the head of the show. LSU had a lot of trouble with their option, and the Bulldogs gained.
Very definitely, and Baylor studied that film carefully.
Yeah,
anytime you're looking at how they made 464 yards, you pick up fairly easily why.
It looked like they memorized it.
Jim Mueller to kick off for Baylor. Sam Martin and Gary James are deep for LSU. This ball's going to go to James' side, and he fields it on his own 2. Tremendous return by Gary James out across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. A 31-yard return. Johnson, a linebacker, made the tackle for Baylor, and LSU has a first down.
Gary James is a great player, and of course Hilliard gets a lot of publicity because he had a lot of yards on the ground, but James had 50 receptions out of the backfield, and they feel that he's a tremendous pro prospect. He runs the ball very well, he catches it, and as you see, he can play special teams. Gary James, part of a great tandem backfield for LSU.
Davis left, McGee right. Here comes LSU in a running play with Gary James, and he is really popped at the 35-yard line by Russell Sheffield, 91, the defensive right tackle, and Alan Jamison, number 47, the middle linebacker.
James has averaged 5.4 yards per running play this season, and any back that can average over 5 yards, you know, has got some great ability.
2nd down, 8, 5 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the first half. Baylor ahead 10-7. In the last, in the only other bowl meeting back in 1963 in the Bluebonnet Bowl, Baylor defeated LSU. Martin and McGee are the wideouts. A single setback now for LSU as Wickersham on a drop, has some time, and then it kind of collapses, and so he turns to the run, puts his head down, gets up across the 40 to the 41. He runs into Ray Berry, number 57, the linebacker from Abilene, Texas.
Russell Sheffield, number 91 for Baylor. Virtually no college experience coming in. He's got to get rid of him. See, Sheffield now, he could have responsibility.
Pretty hard when you're getting held like that. He's got both hands locked onto his jersey.
Well, that about takes care of that. You're right. I don't know if I could have got away from him either.
3rd down and 2 for the Tigers. Hilliard and James are now the running backs, and James in motion. Wickersham looking his way, throws to James, out of bounds in the 45. First down for the Tigers. The clock is stopped with 4 minutes and 5 seconds to play in the first half.
And maybe the strength of the LSU offense you just saw there, and that's Wickersham to James when they need a couple of yards. He's very accurate from short range, and James has the great hands. 50 receptions again on the year. You can expect him to go to that man just about, well, a good portion of the time. That's a lot of catches.
McGee and Martin are the wideouts. Hilliard and James the running backs, split for LSU. Wickersham, Hilliard. Hilliard midfield, dumped as he inches across the midfield stripe by Thomas Everett, the free safety, number 27, and Ray Berry, the linebacker, number 57.
It's a great run by Hilliard. It was a trap play, supposed to go off tackle, which meant he should go inside. He saw that Baylor had closed, had enough quickness and speed to break it to the outside and pick up a little bit of yardage.
Coach, years ago, you ran to the hole, didn't you? And not anymore, the game has changed quite a bit where the back has to read.
You run for daylight.
Hilliard shaken up on the last play, and Jean-Baptiste is now there to replace him, and flags go down as the green shirts Jerry James is the tailback. Second down, 10. Jean-Baptiste in motion. Gary James to the 48. And Ray Berry, 57, the linebacker who leads Baylor in tackles with 113, racks up another one at the 48-yard line.
It's very steady, very tough defense. They just don't have any weaknesses. They make you really fight for anything that you get.
Hilliard, who rushed for over 1,100 yards this year, has been held to 35 in this game on 10 carries. James, 6 carries for 20 yards. Jean-Baptiste, 44, is now in there as a running back. Wickersham in trouble, throws it over the middle. The pass was deflected. His arm was hit. Sam Martin was the intended receiver, and Barry, the linebacker, was coming.
Well, Coach just said it. He said they have a very good, solid defense, and they had it all there. They had the rush and also the secondary. Now watch the pressure. Wickersham, he feels it breaking down. He wants to get rid of it. They're all over him, and I'll tell you what, from the secondary, they had him covered. There was just nobody open for LSU, and that passing game is hurting them. They're not able to get any yardage downfield quickly.
Matt DeFrank has averaged 38 for the year, 37 in this game. Thomas Everett, Ron Francis are back deep for the Baylor Bears. With 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go in the first half. DeFrank belts it downfield. It's Thomas Everett, and Everett fair catches the ball at about the 14-yard line. So with 2:41 left in the first half, the Baylor Bears, leading by a score of 10-7, will take over a 39-yard kick for the
Baylor's defense in green has been ranked 1, 2, or 3 against the pass all year. The reason? They cover receivers. Wickersham is being rushed right now. Look at the green. Everybody has a man. And I'll tell you what, when you become predictable like LSU, they have to drive the length of the field late in the half. It can be very tough.
Cody Carlson is now the quarterback on the draw, and McAdoo is really popped by Roland Barbet, number 77, the All-Southeast Conference tackle from Chalmette, Louisiana. Roland Barbet, outstanding football player, 257 pounds, a 3-time Letterman Jr. now. The number 2 offensive line is now in for Baylor, and when Grant Taft makes the substitution of the line, he goes for the whole unit. Ross Elmore now is the center, Stewart and Bateman the guards, Palmer and Robinson are the tackles, Simpson and Baker are the wideouts. Cody Carlson drops inside his own 5, zips it out, and it's incomplete, intended for Ben Baker, the sophomore out of Plano, Texas, number 4. He was covered by Norman Jefferson, the weak side cornerback.
Baker's got going downfield. Quarterback sees him, sets, looks at him a little bit too long, and then overthrows the ball. He's open, but the ball is simply overthrown. Baker is unable to make the reception.
Coach, they went to a trips formation on that play, deep in their own territory. What does that do to the defense? Trips meaning three wide receivers to one side.
Well, it means that the secondary has got to make an adjustment that they normally don't make, because rarely do you get 3 people on the same side. Usually you have 2 wide receivers and then either a wing back or somebody go in motion. When you have 3, somebody has got to change their pattern, come out of position to be over there to pick up all of the eligible men.
What would you run against trips?
The pass they just ran. What would I run defensively?
Yeah.
Blitz.
You like the blitz, don't you?
No, it is. There's nobody there. You see, when you don't have enough people to pick up the rushing safety or linebackers, you simply don't have the numbers necessary to defend the passer if you've got everybody out of the backfield. And when you got trips, you got everybody out of the backfield.
So he'd have to throw it quickly, wouldn't he?
Got to throw it quick, and that means nobody's going to get downfield very far.
Tommy Clapp, the defensive tackle, being helped off the field. Tommy, a 6'4", 258-pound sophomore from Gretna, Louisiana. A minute 59 seconds to go in the first half. Baylor leading by a score of 10-7 on a 23-yard field goal by freshman Terry Seiler. Baylor in possession with a 3rd down and 13 at the Baylor 10. The quarterback, Cody Carlson. Straight drop, and where's the receiver? They're all covered. Carlson going to run it. He is pulled down by Eric Hill, number 54, the defensive end, at about the 15-yard line, so he gets no more than 5 yards on the play, and it'll be 4th down at about 9 coming up.
That's a nice job by Eric Hill, guy who wasn't even supposed to start. Now Carlson, I'm surprised Baylor, deep in their own territory, they're not trying to protect that lead. He's looking, he doesn't have anything. No, watch Hill. Watch the move Carlson puts on Hill. And as Coach said, he watches his belt buckle, and boom, that's great linebacker play, because that wasn't a bad move for the quarterback, and he made a good solid tackle. Hill did.
Timeout was called by
based on the fact that your offense isn't doing that well. If you're LSU, you going after this one?
I wouldn't think so, because the punt return was so effective, and I think that you'll have Baylor not cover quite as hard, so they won't overrun it.
Sawyer's line drive kick rolling downfield into LSU territory, and will be downed inside the 45 and marked at about the 43-yard line. So with a minute 33 seconds left to play in the first half, the Baylor Bears are leading the LSU Tigers by a score of 10-7 after that 41-yard kick. Travel arrangements to Memphis for the Liberty Bowl telecast made through Eastern. The leader has been out since he was favoring an injured leg, and this pitch going to Gary James, and he is inside the midfield stripe at the 49. Thomas Everett, 27, the All-America free safety, made the tackle a minute 19 and running, and 2nd down and short for LSU as Davis and McGee are in there as the wideouts now. The running backs are split, and Wickersham swings it to the left side to Jean-Baptiste, and he has the first down the sideline. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock, and let's see where they mark the ball. Jack Hurd ran him out of bounds. Good block by Raji McGee, number 80.
Baylor's thinking stop the deep pass rather than stop the short pass. This is the second swing pattern. Hilliard comes out of the backfield. There's no linebacker close to him. The receiver gets a fine block. The inside man, Batiste, picks up a big gain on the play.
It looked like Anthony Coleman, number 6, thought he was going to go out of bounds, and he just kind of coasted over there, and John Batiste cut up in too a little bit.
Gain too deep.
Gain of 16. They fake the draw in the play action, and Wickersham goes down under a big rush. Number 92, Paul Lee, the defensive end. Timeout call for LSU quickly to stop the clock. But Lee comes up with a big defensive play for a 13-yard loss. And I said Paul Lee, it is James Lee, number 92.
And that was as big a defensive play at the moment. Momentum had definitely passed to Louisiana State. They were very close to field goal range to tie the score, and they talk to each other. The coaches talk to them first, but then when it happens, the players can keep telling each other, hey, we did it once, we can do it again. If we do it twice, we can do it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And however long it takes.
Confidence is everything.
You betcha.
2nd and 22 as Wickersham pumps once. Now looks is under a rush, throws incomplete. The closest man in the area was Gary James, but big number 97, Kevin Marsh, was right over there looking at possible pass interception.
Kevin Marsh, near and dear to my heart, a former walk-on playing 97. He's a good player. 6 foot 235. He may be a little small. He gets the pressure, but look at the secondary, the number 3 secondary in the country, and those receivers are coasting back there. Now he's in trouble. They should have been coming back to the ball, and LSU's receivers are just coasting.
3rd down, 22, 50 seconds left. Wickersham looking for a receiver, going to run the football, and he's trying to get out of bounds, but he can't. At about the 30-yard line as James Lee, 92, chased him down, and LSU takes its last timeout. 40 seconds left in the ball game. Baylor 10, LSU 7, and LSU will be coming up with a 4th down. Wickersham, by the way, has completed 7 of 13 for 64 yards and 1 interception tonight. He's had an outstanding career at LSU.
Hitting 60% of his passes, so he's not up to par tonight, but big story the second half. Can LSU and Wickersham get the passing attack untracked?
How would you do that? If your passing attack isn't going and your quarterback is not clicking, would they change quarterbacks, Coach? Do you change your passing attack in some way?
You don't change Wickersham because he's been there too long and has been too effective, but you can change the pass patterns, and the ones that they've hit have been the flare patterns to the outside, to the backs. It doesn't appear that the Baylor linebackers are getting out wide enough, quick enough, to pick up the extra speed that they must have when a man comes out of the backfield.
Go with more of those.
LSU will go with a 47-yard field goal attempt, apparently. Doug Powell will hold, but remember, he is a quarterback. The longest shot for Ron Lewis, he's in his range, 54 yards in his career. So it'll be a 47-yard effort from the hash mark, and he belts it low and away to the left. And Baylor will have 36 seconds left to work in the first half with a 10-7 lead. But what you're talking about, Wickersham's inability to get that passing offense going, what about that Baylor secondary, though? They just have, as Cody Carlson comes out as a quarterback, the junior from San Antonio. The number 2 offensive line is in for Baylor. And a first down coming up, and no setback. First time tonight. Carlson rolling and looking, and throws the ball incomplete. You know, he could have picked up about 5 or 6 yards and run the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. It stopped on the incompleted pass with 28 seconds remaining.
I think that's what he was wanting to avoid. Don't make that much short pass, and we're getting the signal now that was an illegal forward pass. He'd crossed the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball.
And he also loses it down.
We saw him quarterback as he rolls out here. We get a wide view, and you can look and see that nobody really is covered, but he's got plenty of room, and then he simply throws the ball away. But you can also see that he crossed the line of scrimmage prior to throwing the football, and that's an illegal forward pass.
So it's 5 yards, loss of down, and second down and 15 for Baylor with 28 seconds left to go in the first half. The ball on the Baylor 26-yard line.
And Carlson looking for something much bigger than that short gain as we look at the domination of the Baylor passing attack.
He sends Pruitt and Clark split wide to the left side. In fact, there are 3 wideouts to the left side as they overload. Now no running backs left. The last man in motion. Carlson, quarterback draw. Doesn't go anyplace. Roland Barbet, number 77, the defensive left end, made sure he didn't go anyplace. Now Baylor with the clock running and 17 seconds to go in the first half. It appears the Bears will simply let it run out, and Baylor will take the lead into the locker room at halftime.
Wasn't much of a signal by Grant that time, but you could see he said, let's just cool it and let that clock run out.
So the 27th annual Liberty Bowl Classic from Memphis comes to the end of the first half with Bill Arnsparger's LSU Tigers trailing Grant Taft's Baylor Bears by a score of 10-7. In the kickoff. And it's taken the 4-yard line. Sam Martin bobbling, picking it up, going back to the opposite side, sees a little bit of running room, and then gets necktied and brought down. And we had a flag dropped on the play. Ray Crockett, a defensive back, number 15, got credit for the tackle after a 17-yard return.
Special teams, that was what I was all about. I played on a lot of special teams. They never let me catch kick because that's what I used to do, but I'd run down on defense on a lot of them. And what Crockett does is exactly right. Even though the back is on the other side of the field, Crockett, face mask there, that's the penalty, Crockett did not over-pursue. He held his ground, and he was the safety guy out there, and he was able to make the tackle on this man, Sam Martin. Of course, he shouldn't have grabbed his face mask.
That was not a flagrant face mask call, only a 5-yard penalty, taking the ball up to the 26-yard line. Jeff Wickersham, the senior quarterback from Merritt Island, Florida, is in there running the LSU offense, and he goes to a pitch to Gary James, his tailback, and James gets very little around the left side, maybe 2. Robert Waters, the weak side linebacker, 44, and James Lee, number 92, in there to make the tackle, the defensive right end.
If I was Coach Arnsparger in the locker room, I think I would have been upset with the lack of running attack. This is a team, LSU, that should be able to pound the ball down the field. If they're to make their passing game go at all, they should be able to run. Hilliard's been a great runner, one of the leading rushers in LSU history, and they have just got to play harder maybe and get that running game going.
Second down 8 is the call. James in motion. Wickersham looking to the near side, and then gets nailed by James Lee, 92 from the blind side, and Lee replaced the All-Southwest Conference defensive end Derek Turner, who went out of the game with an injury early and has not come back, but Lee has been outstanding.
As I suspected, they have the man in motion here. You can see him coming across the formation. Wickersham drops back. Can't find anybody open. Bingo! He's hit from the blind side. Down he goes, and again, the dominance of the Baylor defense and the quickness of the Baylor defense is taking its toll.
This is Lee's third school. He started at Oklahoma, went to Northeast Oklahoma, and now he's at Baylor.
Third down 12, and Baylor shows blitz. Is it coming? And Wickersham fires away. It is incomplete. Intended for McGee, and he had double coverage. He had Jack Hurd over there along with Ron Francis. So it is fourth down for LSU.
And it doesn't appear that LSU has gained any confidence between halves. The first running play they tried was the basic I formation play, just student body right, we call it, where you got everybody blocking out in front. Baylor was ready for it, stopped it for no gain, then one pass rushed, and then an incomplete pass.
Matt DeFrank is in to do the punting, and he drives it downfield where Thomas Everett calls for the fair catch and fields the ball at his own 28-yard line. A kick of 48 yards. So Baylor will have the ball for the Players' School. That's the most exciting player of the game coming up at the end of tonight's telecast. Tom Mickey will be the quarterback for Baylor as the Bears take it for the first time on offense in the second half of the Baylor 28-yard line. Bears leading by a score of 10-7.
And this is the time that the Baylor coaching staff, Grant Teff, really hopes and believes that they can drive the ball to downfield for another score. If they can, puts them in control of the game.
Matt Clark breaks out wide to the right side, Pruitt to the left side for Baylor. Now he goes in motion back to the right. Mickey to throw, spins it right over the middle, and a great catch by Matt Clark as Norman Jefferson, the weak quarterback, number 12, was right there to cover him, but a gain of 20 yards and a first down at the 48 of Baylor.
And this is a perfectly timed pattern. Mickey drops back, sets. Clark breaks to the inside before the ball is thrown. The ball is perfectly on the numbers, well covered, but when you throw it that accurately, the defense can't stop it.
Baylor first down at the Bear 48. That's Eights in motion back to the left side. Mickey on the option hands it off to Sargent, and Sargent crosses the midfield stripe to the 48-yard line of LSU, where he is stopped by Toby Caston, 69, the weak linebacker from Monroe, Louisiana, and Chris Carrier, number 11, the free safety from Eunice, Louisiana.
Baylor does so many things so well that if you're playing defense against him, you really could find yourself in a lot of trouble. 20 formations, Coach Teff said this morning they would run at least 20 formations in this game, and I'll tell you, that'll make your head go in circles.
They switch the wideouts and also the running backs. And a flag goes down as that play goes no for Michael Brooks would be like the one he had against Mississippi State. 11 unassisted tackles, 2 for losses, 2 assists, 3 quarterback sacks, 1 pass broken up, and 2 fumbles caught. Typical game. Roll to the left. Mickey fires away and completes it at the 42 to Leland Douglas, number 17, the junior from Beaumont, Texas. Norman Jefferson and Toby Caston covering, and it will be very close to a first down. They may have it.
Well, the defense here from LSU, they play pretty well, but when Mickey's on target here, now here's Brooks, he's getting his hands down and he's out of the line of sight, though. The block was good enough to get him out of Mickey's line of sight, and Brooks, although he got his hands down, was able to stay on his feet. Mickey threw it inside of him for a completion. Need to come a little harder. LSU's got to lay their ears back now. They're down in this game. They've got to make something happen.
First down, Baylor on the LSU 41. Baylor leading at 10-7. Mickey the option, pitches it back to Sargent. And Broderick is down to the 30-yard line where he is knocked down by Michael Brooks, 94, and Chris Carrier.
The Baylor attack, and Mickey is having a hot hand.
Earlier in this drive, the first play of the drive was a first down play. It was a straight drop back by Mickey. No play action on first down, which is a little bit of a surprise. Then they go to some dives. Then they go to 2 hook passes, which were complete, and then to the option. I'll tell you what.
Simpson, the flyer, and Horace Eights, who's also very quick, are down as the wideouts, and Eights goes in motion to the right side. Mickey on a handoff to Sargent, and he goes right up the right side where he runs into Toby Caston, but not until he gets down near the 25-yard line, where it'll be a 2nd and 5.
This is a cutback play that's designed to go back to the other side of the center. You can see how far across Brooks came as he started downfield. The center blocked the nose man in the direction that he wanted to go, moving to the outside. He cut back inside of him to pick up the gain.
All right, I think I recognize that banner. I think Grant Taft's daughter's constructed that one. As Baylor goes to the run, and McAdoo is knocked off his feet by Michael Brooks, and Darrell Phillips, number 62, just came in to replace the injured Henry Thomas at the nose guard spot.
Those two quarterbacks, call them the tandem quarterback, but look at even yardage, and both of them execute extremely well. Perhaps Mickey runs the ball a little bit better, but Carlson has been right on target with all of his passes.
This is where it's been tough for the Baylor offense the entire game as they get down inside close to the 20-yard line. It's 3rd and about 4. See what they do if they made an adjustment.
In motion goes Chase to the right side, and on the pitch it comes back to the trailing back Sargent, and Broderick gets inside the 20, is out of bounds on the 17, and that is a first down for the Baylor Bears. And chased out of bounds by Toby Caston, the weak side linebacker. But
that was a counter option again. Quarterback faking the handoff and then making the pitch, and they did get the corner turned, and the sharp hitting of the Baylor offensive team as well as the defensive team is beginning to take a little bit of a toll. They're putting a lot of pressure on the LSU team.
This is Chris Carrier, the free safety, injured on the play. He's also the young man who is the deep snapper for LSU. He's 6'5" and 205, an outstanding football player, and has a tremendous future for the Bayou Bengals.
Lose your deep snapper, and you've lost one of the most important people on your team.
And you know, the coach said today that in all of the snaps that he has made, he has never come up with a bad one. This time in motion, it is Pruitt to the right side. Mickey dropping and throwing and completing to Pruitt. And Pruitt is out of bounds inside the 10, chased out by Norman Jefferson at about the 7-yard line.
Once again, it's a beautiful play-action pass. Mickey starts down the line, drops back. He's faked the handoff, pops it out to Pruitt, and this is a perfect throw, right on target. Pruitt has enough balance, enough drive to pick up the first down.
Michael Brooks, All-American. His job here is the option. He's trying to put pressure on, but see, it really wasn't the block as much as Brooks trying to take on the lead on the option, and that's what Baylor will do to you. Mickey came down the line, and Brooks really didn't recognize that it was going to be a pass play until it was too late. So he took on the lead block, took himself out of the play. Mickey was able to make the pass. And the Bears are as tough offensively as I've ever seen a team. They are tricky.
Okay, that play good for a first down by about the length of the football. First down goal to go in the 7, and Tom Mickey suddenly calls a timeout. Ready to go on first down and goal to go in the LSU 7. Baylor leading it by a score of 10-7. Douglas in as a wideout. Sargent and McAdoo the running back. Mickey on the pitch, and now Sargent in trouble, is going to be thrown for a loss back outside the 15-yard line. Darrell Phillips, 62, the nose tackle. Steve Rehage, number 7, the strong safety. Back there to make the stop, but they're going to mark the ball to the 18-yard line.
Well, the difference between defense in the middle of the field and defense on the goal line is you don't worry about anything except coming, and that's what LSU does here. Everybody is putting pressure on the Baylor offense, and there's nowhere to go. All those yellow hats, and you just forget everything and come on the goal line, and that's why LSU has been successful. Baylor confused them in the middle of the field, but not on the goal line.
A loss of 11, second down, 18 goal to go. Mickey, quick hit, and fumble as Fornes caught that ball and dropped it incomplete. Hit by Sean Burks, number 57. Kobe Fornes really took a pop from Burks to shake the ball loose. Incomplete.
Good throw by Mickey, though. Had it right on target.
He's had 4 dropped today. And I have to say something about LSU. You know, what Baylor is doing, when you play defense, you just want to go. You want to hit. You want to run around the field. And what Baylor is doing is really making them think, and that takes away your aggressiveness. When they turn loose their aggressiveness, as they did on that last play, they're much better defensively.
Third down goal to go in the 18. Mickey dropping straight back and fires it over the middle. It is incomplete. Darnell Chase looked like he was trying to run before he had control of the ball. So Darnell Chase, number 5, a freshman from Houston, couldn't hang on.
Mickey threw the ball just a step behind him. He should have caught the ball, I believe, as we take a look at Mickey dropping back again. Straight drop back. He's got a lot of time. There were trips out to one side, then a man in motion. Chase cuts across the field. And no, the ball was right on target. Hit him right in the hands, and he simply took his eyes off the ball, dropped the ball, and that killed a big play, or what could have been a big play.
It'll be a 35-yard field goal attempt by Seiler, who is 1 out of 2 tonight. Right up the middle of the field. Good hole. End over end, and right up the middle. Seiler getting a second field goal, a 35-yarder, after getting a 23-yard field goal in the second quarter. So with 8 minutes, 54 seconds in the third quarter, it's Baylor 13-7. We'll be back after this from your local stations on the Raycom Sports Network. It was his second long punt return. In fact, the last punt return for a touchdown was turned in by Norman Jefferson, I believe, against Mississippi State. Long end-over-end kick. Going to come up a little bit short, though. Looked like it was going to have pretty good distance, didn't. James on the return. James breaks it out across the 30, out to the 33. And it's Johnny Subia, number 12, on the tackle after a 21-yard return by Gary James from Gretna, Louisiana.
Coach, if I'm playing for LSU, I have to believe that LSU's confidence is in their running game. They've run the ball so well through the years, and certainly with this group in, they've run it well. Shouldn't they go back to that running game down by only 6 and try to just push it down Baylor's throat?
Bill Armsparger believes that you've got to establish the run before the pass, and they haven't been able to do that. And once again, they start with a run, and bingo, Baylor defense is right there.
And Dalton Hilliard carried the ball. He went out with an injury. His back, that was his first play, and he is hit at the lineman, then thrown at the line of scrimmage. Hilliard and Jones will be the running back, so it'll be 2nd down and 10 as Jones brings the play in from the sideline.
What are some of the things you can do, Coach, with the running game to try to get it going?
Not very much, because that means that your offensive line is not dominating the line of scrimmage. So what you need to do is run some draw plays, run some passes, and the quick passes are the ones that they've been able to hit.
And let's check it. It wasn't Jones. It was James who was back into the ball game. And that pass intended for McGee. Alan Jamison there to break it up. Victor Jones, by the way, who is the backup to Gary James, is a freshman out of Zachary, Louisiana. Coach Bill Arnsparger really likes him as a future star in the backfield for LSU.
But for the moment, the Baylor defense is just playing a superb game. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. Their linebackers are in control, and you've talked about, and we've had some great replays of the defensive secondary dropping back, and they've had everybody covered.
What about changing blocking schemes on the front, try to get some angle blocks on these guys and not try to overpower them?
Well, I think they're trying to do that. They've run the trap play, and they've made the trap play go better than anything else, but they simply haven't been able to get the consistency they need.
On 3rd and 11, Wickersham firing to Martin, who really takes a pop on the sideline from Anthony Colvin, the right cornerback. And it is 4th down for the Tigers, and the punting unit will come on.
Well, when a guy's open and he doesn't catch the ball, if you're a defensive player, there's only one thing you can do, and it's done right here in Baylor. When you're secondary, that's a great shot and just a clean shot by Coleman, and it's what you want to do. You want to make them remember that you're out there, and that's why Baylor has such a great secondary. They take the shots when they get them.
Matt DeFrank is in to do the punting for LSU on 4th down at about the 33-yard line. Thomas Everett back deep for Baylor. Something went wrong there on that punt, it appeared, as the ball might have been touched, or was it, by LSU. The ball was down back on the 22. I thought it might have been touched up around the 36 or 37-yard line. In fact, it was touched apparently at the 37.
I think it hit the leg of one of the LSU men covering. Whenever it touches a member of the kicking team, it's dead at the spot. You see the punt again. Went off the side of his foot. Short kick, line drive kick. Ball hits the ground, and see it bounce. And now it touches the leg of the LSU player, and so the ball is dead at that point.
Very short kick.
It looked like he was trying to baby that ball. It looked like he took a half a kick at it. It didn't look like he really let go with the punt.
I think he really kind of had a bad drop. Maybe the wind or something shifted it, but he almost hit the ball on the wrong side of his body.
Tom Mickey is still the quarterback, and he hands it off to Jackie Ball, who is up across the 40 to about the 42, where Toby Caston, 69, Sean Burks, 57, the inside linebackers, make the stop.
With the balance that Baylor has had on their offense, you've got to believe this is going to be some kind of a play-action pass.
Well, no, Coach. Even though they have 20 formations, they can only run so many plays, right? I mean, you really shouldn't be worried about the formations as much as run and pass.
But what the offensive men are makes the timing of the defense so much different.
Mickey keeps and pays for it. At the 45 is Roland Barbet, 77, and Michael Brooks, 94. The defensive left end and outside linebacker are there to greet him.
Well, I wish I had played with a guy like Michael Brooks. I mean, this guy plays all of the option. He plays the quarterback and the pitcher. Look at him waiting for Mickey there. He says, okay. Now, sometimes you're supposed to go down and hit him and make him make a decision, but Brooks seems to wait. Why is that?
Well, he's such an all-around great athlete, and his reaction is so fast once the decision is made that he can recover.
Here comes Mr. Brooks as Mickey gets that pass away somehow at midfield. Chris Carrier, the free safety, there on the tackle, and Jay Kelly, the tight end, came up with it. And Brooks, was coming pell-mell from the outside after Mr. Mickey.
We've been talking about him all night, number 94. He's a junior. Remember, he'll be back again. Now, he plays the option. He plays pass defense. He's also, much like Lawrence Taylor, a great pass rusher. He's on Mickey. One hand knocks him down, but they completed the thing anyway.
The pass was automatic to the tight end. When the linebackers are coming, you don't have time to have receivers run the course, so you've got to have the hot receiver, who was the tight end Kelly, and they did complete the pass. A good reaction by Mickey.
And a first down out of it as Mickey runs the option and pitches it to Jackie Ball. Jackie Ball chased out of bounds near the yard marker, but a little bit short of a first down, I believe.
Now we saw the same thing from Hill there. Hill waited too, but he couldn't get outside and make the play. Would you, if you had a player of the caliber of Brooks, do you change the system for him? Do you allow him to sit like that?
Sure, if he's that good. What you do if you're Baylor, however, is you hope you run to the wrong side, and you want to run away from Brooks. Don't go at him.
And he's going to catch you, though.
Well, play is fast enough. He can't run down. But he's run some down tonight.
Yeah,
There's been a little bit of a delay. That's what a great athlete he is.
Jackie Ball picking up 8 on the carry. It gained 365 yards this year, but has an average of 6.9 per carry. His brother, by the way, is an outstanding nose guard for SMU. DeWitt is now in at the free safety spot on second down and short. Straight ahead on the dive to Jackie Ball. He has the first down inside the 40 of LSU. Darrell Phillips, number 62, the nose guard, who has replaced the injured Henry Thomas, and they've got to be missing a guy like Thomas. Taking nothing away from Phillips, but he's only a freshman. Henry Thomas, a junior, lots of experience, outstanding performer in the middle of that defensive line.
And the wide receiver coming back in motion that time makes the defensive secondary move and takes away some of the quick support against the handoff play.
John Simpson, the burner, is split wide to the right side for Baylor on first down. Mickey looking at him and fires incomplete. Simpson couldn't hardly wait to get his hands on the ball, do a little running. He was covered by Norman Jefferson, the weak cornerback.
Yeah, unofficially, that's 6 drop passes, and I believe Mickey's thrown 5 of them so far tonight. He's got to be feeling a little bit frustrated. Baylor would be moving the ball quite a bit better if they catch a few of these.
Ben Baker will bring the play in. He's a wide receiver.
Baylor seems to be keyed so highly for this game. Every single snap of the ball, it's an all-out effort by everybody, and that includes the receivers and running before they catch the ball.
Tommy Clapp for Carl Wilson at the defensive right end now for LSU. Second down is the call. Mickey straight drop and looks to the near side. Ooh, caught by Baker and then dropped. Incomplete. Kevin Guidry, number 27, was looking at nothing but open field had he been able to step in there and intercept that pass.
Well, Baker all the way on this thing. I mean, Mickey looks at him. Watch Mickey. Mickey looks right at Baker on the left. He's glued to him. This is not a bad pass, but the coverage by Guidry is excellent. Pass is a little bit inside. Now Guidry's all over him, and the question is, did the ball hit the ground? Sure doesn't look like it from that angle. Looks like Guidry rolled over and took the ball away from him. They call it a reception. Did they call it a reception or incomplete?
They call it incomplete. The official is pointing to where the ball hit the ground, at least in his opinion.
Third down 10. They swing it out to Robert Williams coming out of the backfield. He runs right into Mike DeWitt, number 18, the junior from Laurel, Mississippi, the free safety.
Well, from where I was on the last replay, it appeared that it either had to be a reception or an interception. Baker makes the catch here. And now Guidry, it's on his leg, and we lose it again. I'll tell you, that's close. Official a little closer than we are, but that was close. Great play by Guidry.
And the Bears lost 3 yards on the last play to bring up a 4th and 13 as Sawyer kicks it away. Jefferson downfield for LSU, and the ball takes an LSU bounce, and Baylor tries to cover it in a hurry to down that ball. It's finally down to the 26-yard line. 5 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Baylor Bears lead the LSU Tigers. Merle Harmon along with Bud Wilkinson and Kevin Kiley here in Memphis, Tennessee. It is a 1st and 10 as Hilliard gets the call and doesn't go very far because Alan Jamison, the middle linebacker from Houston, who is a real hard-nosed football player, is in there to make the stop. Hilliard doesn't seem, though, to be able to run with the power that he had before he went out with the injury.
He doesn't have a lot of room to run, but I think that the one thing that might help LSU is to throw on first down. They simply haven't thrown very much on first down. They're trying to run the ball on first down to establish the run. They can't make the gain. That puts them in a bad down and yardage situation.
Hilliard and James together over 1,600, almost 1,700 yards this year. You saw what they've done tonight. That's James taking that pass coming out of the backfield, and he is close to a first down. Alan Jamison, the middle linebacker for Baylor, and Henry Green, the defensive left tackle, in there to make the stop for the Bears.
Wickersham is really too good a passer to continue to play as inconsistently as he has. He's about to pick it up, I believe, because his experience and a 60% pass thrower simply doesn't have the ball lose control as often as it has tonight.
Sam Martin, number 23, a wide receiver coming in with a play. McGee splits wide to the left side, Martin to the right side for LSU. Wickersham rolls to the left and looks, and it is incomplete. Dalton Hilliard out of the backfield, nothing there.
Baylor defense been doing a job all night, and they continue to do it against LSU. Now here's that number 3 ranked in the nation pass secondary. Now this pass probably should have been caught. Top of your screen on the left. Remember the whack the kid took just earlier on the secondary? You know, those things don't go unnoticed, and Hilliard should have caught that ball. He could have been thinking about maybe Baylor's going to come up and get him. They're always around the ball.
High snap to Frank, pulls it down, gets the kick away, however. Thomas Everett is backpedaling for Baylor, calling for the fair catch, hoping the ball will roll into the end zone. It does. LSU trying to down it before it got there. It'll be brought to the 20, and that's where Baylor will put it in play, but a 64-yard punt by Matt DeFrank.
LSU has had the ball 3 times in this half, and all 3 times it's been 3 plays in punt.
So the Baylor Bears, who lead it by 13-7, they trail 7-0 after Norman Jefferson ran a punt back 79 yards. That took place back in the first quarter. That's the only tally that LSU has come up with tonight. Meanwhile, Cody Carlson, after that long touchdown run, drove the Bears 80 yards for the tying touchdown. The first quarter ended 7-7, and then Terry Seiler kicked the first of 2 field goals tonight for the Bears, who now lead at 13-7. And here we go, and Cody Carlson is now the quarterback. Carlson handing it off to Charles Perry, and Perry to the 23, where Brooks and Phillips make the tackle for LSU. As you have no doubt noted, we have talked about many backs tonight for Baylor. McAdoo, Ball, Rutledge, Williams, Sargent, Perry, Stockemer, and they've all handled the ball.
And all of them give it that full all-out burst because they're fresh all of the time. There's never a tired back in the game for Baylor.
And that's bad for a defensive player who is tired.
Second down, 7 of the Baylor 23. This time, man in motion is Horace H. Carlson looks to the far side, looks for H. Diving catch if it was a reception, and apparently it was. And it will be good for a first down on the 32-yard line. Coverage by Kevin Guidry, number 27, the strong quarterback.
Offensive line for Baylor has done quite a job. They have to know how to do a lot of things, this offensive line. Now watch Bates, number 59. Waiting. He's a double team blocker on this play. He takes the man from the center and drives him to the ground. Now Baylor has really, on the defensive and offensive lines tonight, is really what's keeping them ahead. Their defensive line is doing the job, and so are the offensive guys.
You just saw that Matt DeFrank has the new Liberty Bowl record, 64 yards on a punt. That pitch going back to Rutledge, and Rutledge chased out of bounds on the far side of the 41-yard line, chased out by Mike DeWitt, number 18, the junior from Laurel Miss.
And we've been talking about Brooks all night, but he certainly is worth talking about because of his quickness and speed. He catches Carlson from behind just at the moment that he gets the pitch off, but he almost had speed enough to catch him from a long way away.
Second down short, second down 2 coming up. There's the clock, there is the score. Chris Carrier back in as a free safety now for LSU. Carlson hands off. Perry has the first down with plenty to spare. Carrier and Burke stop him near midfield.
That's one of the few times that the handoff has been handled well enough to have the LSU defense playing the quarterback and the pitch man and not really concentrating on stopping the handoff first.
Yeah, right behind Bates and Cochran on the right side of that line. They did a nice job.
Baylor on that right side. Addicks, all conference, all Southwest Conference. Bates, Cochran, also all Southwest Conference. Boy, that's a pretty good act on one side of the offensive line. First down, midfield. Cody Carlson running the show for Baylor right now. Complete. It is Darnell Chase, and he is chased out of bounds by Kevin Guidry, the strong cornerback for LSU. He gets 11.
I've seen a lot of football teams play. I've never seen two quarterbacks that executed as well and as consistently as these two men do. It doesn't make a bit of difference whether it's Mickey or whether it's Carlson. The timing of their pass patterns, the execution of the option play, everything they do, they're just kind of like twins out there.
Matt Clark wide to the left side. Eights coming back in motion to the left side. On a first down call for Baylor. As Carlson hands off to Perry, and Perry, the highly regarded freshman, down to the 28-yard line of LSU, and he runs into Chris Carrier and Steve Rehaj, the two safety men, a gain of 11.
Well, there's another one. It was a draw play. It was like a little slip draw, and they caught LSU looking for the pass. And this is what they've done all night. They just shook it up. He just held his ground, waited for Carlson to hand him the ball. And as you can see, the secondary has to come up and make that tackle. A linebacker, defensive lineman should be there to stop that, and they weren't there.
So Baylor on the move now, but they have had trouble punching it in. They've rolled up lots and lots of yardage. They've had tremendous opportunities. That LSU defense has really been difficult, though, and has given up 2 field goals. And this play, Rutledge being chased out and bulldogged down by Chris Carrier, number 11, the free safety. So that LSU defense really gives up that ground begrudgingly when Baylor has moved near the 20-yard line.
And that's the closest that they really come to mishandling the ball. The pitch was made late. Back almost dropped it, but did have the timing to pull it in and protect it rather than fumbling and forcing a turnover.
After a gain of 1, second down 9 for Baylor. Leland Douglas splits to the right side, Pruitt to the left side for the Bears. We have 1:14 seconds to go in the third quarter. Carlson dropping and looking and firing, and the ball batted down. It was Carl Wilson, number 72, the junior from Baton Rouge, and Darnell Phillips, number 62, coming. But it was Wilson who got his hands up. I believe it was Wilson anyway. He got his hands up to bat that ball down.
The first downs this period, Baylor has made 11, LSU has made none, and the period is almost over.
I think Baylor has one less play, one less first down than LSU has plays. I believe LSU's only had 12 plays.
Douglas and Chase are the wideouts for Baylor. Third down 9. A draw. And it is Rutledge carrying at about the 21. Steve Rehaj, the strong safety on the hit, and it's short of a first down.
Take a look at the splits in the Baylor line. When you split people out, then you need to only occupy them, and there's room enough for the backs to run by them. And you can see the splits. The draw play was called. Backs made a nice move. They picked up the men, got heads on them, and when you get a head on them, you stop them. Rutledge is able to make a nice gain on the play.
What does the defense do against splits, Coach?
Well, you really want to either try to penetrate inside or be strong enough to control the guy that's opposite you.
37-yard field goal attempt by Seiler. He had missed from 37 before, and he misses again. He has field goals of 23 and 35 tonight. Mike Mays had a little to do with that for the Tigers, and so the Tigers will take over. You know, they're still very solidly in this ball game.
Well, they've been dominated as they have, Merle, and you're only 6 points behind. They certainly are very, very much in it because they're too good a team to not play up to their level of standard.
At the 21, Baylor will put the ball in play. Jeff Wickersham at quarterback. Wickersham looks to the near side, and now he starts looking deep, throws over the middle, and is incomplete. That secondary is doing one marvelous job. We've talked about it a lot, but it's worth talking about it a lot. He had all day. Nobody rushed him. Couldn't find an open man.
So his receivers aren't really helping him, Coach. It seems like when they run their pattern and they're covered, they're not really turning around and coming back to him and trying to get open. We had an earlier example of that in the first half. It just seems like he's left back there all by himself. Had great protection there.
I think that they're used to finding an open receiver, and they just haven't practiced coming back to the ball.
Well, they've had a lot of practice tonight.
Wickersham 1 out of 6 in this half. That run doesn't get a whole lot, but does get about 3. Grumbine stops that running play as Dalton Hilliard, the outstanding running back. Merle Herman, Bud Wilkinson, Kevin Kiley at the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, where Baylor leads LSU by a score of 13-7 as we start the fourth quarter. Wickersham, LSU rolling to the right and looking and throwing, and it is incomplete on the sideline to Raji McGee. And it'll be 4th down coming up, and the punting unit is on.
Secondary of Baylor done a great job all day. Now here the coverage isn't that great, but what they've done, they forced Wickersham out of the pocket. He's throwing this thing on the run to a receiver who should have caught the ball on the far sideline. Those catches have to be made, especially by LSU. They don't pass that well, and when they get one close, they need to get it.
Matt DeFrank, who set a Liberty Bowl record the last time he punted, 64 yards, puts one high into the air, and the fair catch is taken by Thomas Everett of Baylor inside the Baylor 40, a 39-yard punt.
If I'm LSU right now, the defense got to be standing on the sideline saying, we're going to have to make something happen. It's clear that the offense is incapable of moving, and they're going to need some kind of a defensive play to get them in closer, maybe score a touchdown, and that means you got to forget about the formations and come after these guys.
It's hard to believe, though, that Hilliard and James, consistencies that they've had offensively, can't get something going here in the fourth quarter.
Well, you know, we haven't talked about it in a while, but Albert Gammo, the center for LSU, is not in this game, and Kuti has been playing center. He's a freshman, and of course the center means a heck of a lot to the running game, and maybe he's just not able to move the Baylor defensive tackle.
No running backs left, as you see. Everybody in motion. Carlson throwing it right over the middle and completing it to Derek McAdoo coming out of the backfield. And McAdoo is yanked down at about the 46-yard line, short of a first down by 2 yards, with Burks making the stop. And once again, Carlson is right on target as we look at McAdoo coming out of the backfield, just running the crossing pattern. Ball thrown right on the numbers beautifully by Carlson. McAdoo breaks it upfield and picks up about 3 extra yards.
And defensively, you're waiting for Baylor to come out first down. What do? They come out with no backs in the backfield. That's got to shake you up.
H to the left, Simpson to the right. The handoff goes to McAdoo, and McAdoo has a first down with plenty to spare down to the 46-yard line of LSU. And Toby Gaston, the weak side linebacker, and Chris Carrier, the free safety, make the hit for the Bayou Bengals. Baylor is simply on fire. Every move that they make, whether it's offense or defense, it's that all-out effort every single snap of the ball. 1st and 10 down on the 46-yard line. Carlson, 7 out of 10, 139 yards and 1 touchdown for Baylor. And Cody is the quarterback right now, and McAdoo goes in motion, leaving no running back. And Carlson throws it over the middle on a slant into Broderick Sargent. And Sargent is at the 39, brought down by Terry Caston, the weak side linebacker of LSU. But you know, even though Baylor has really dominated as far as ball control and statistics in this game, and yet one big play by LSU could completely turn this thing around. It's absolutely true.
Well, the third quarter was just a replay. Each series was exactly the same. Baylor drove up the field, got 1 field goal, missed a couple, and LSU couldn't move the ball on 3 downs. And the same thing's happening here early in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 3. Carlson, McAdoo, short of the first down. Darrell Phillips, the nose guard, 62, from Franklin, Louisiana. The freshman makes the hit.
Well, Tigers have to take chances on defense. They're down 6, getting in the field goal range. Baylor's coming. Seems like they're going to have to take some chances, and that would mean a blitz or well, I guess a blitz on defense, Coach.
blitz if it's not going to be a running play. But if you're blitzing with the running play, there's no pursuit. And that's one of the gambles that you have to take.
The tandem offense, short yardage, power eye, and Stockamer's the tailback, and Stockamer gets the handoff. He breaks through the middle. He's got good speed, and he gets inside the 35 for a first down to the 33, and Chris Carrier, number 11, makes the tackle.
Well, this is another one of Coach Taft's kind of strange offensive sets. He's got 4 tight ends in the game. Stockamer is actually listed as a tight end. Looks like a pretty good running back to me. He's got a tremendous percentage for picking up short yardage plays, as does Baylor, and they do it again. Now, LSU, defensively, their responsibility here is to get the ball, stop them from scoring, and get the ball back if they can, and it seems to me they're going to have to make a move.
1st and 10 on the 34-yard line of LSU. Stockamer, by the way, 4 carries, 15 yards. He has scored 6 touchdowns this year on the run, 1 on the pass, and he has done it basically at the goal line. Carlson option. He goes to Sargent. Sargent down the sideline. Necktie tackle after he picked up about 14 yards. And the man who did it was Chris Carrier, the free safety, number 11.
And then we take a look at the perfect execution of the option play. There's the inside handoff fake. They tackle him. And then there's the beautiful pitch by Carlson. Sargent comes down the sideline. He's a little mad with himself because he didn't go further, but they were into the narrow side of the field again. He didn't have quite room enough to clear the sideline.
At the 21, first down for the Bears. Pruitt and Douglas are the wideouts for Baylor. Sargent gets the call again. And he is down to about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, getting close, Morley, to Seiler's range. When you have Seiler back outside the 30 or 32, so it's a 42-yard kick. That's a little bit beyond his ability distance-wise, and he has a tendency to try to kick it too hard, kicks it offline, but they're getting close enough now to have it well within his distance.
Yep. Time to think about LSU's defense, too. Excuse me, Merle. That LSU's offense has run just a few plays this entire half, and their defense has been getting pounded for a quarter and a half almost. They have to be getting tired.
Tommy Clapp is coming right in for Carl Wilson for LSU. 2nd down and 6 coming up for Baylor. McAdoo doesn't get a whole lot on that.
Appeared he checked signals, but the weakness that he thought he saw was simply not there.
It's a nice play by Toby Caston, who doesn't get the recognition, probably because he plays next to Michael Brooks. Caston's a pretty good linebacker, and they expect him to be a super one next year, just a junior.
3rd down 4 for the Baylor Bears, who lead it 13-7 with 11 minutes to go in the ball game. The plays run this half. Baylor 37, LSU 12. Gives you an idea of what we said a moment ago, the way that Baylor has dominated possession, but hasn't scored. Carlson coming back, rolling right, looking, throwing for the end zone, touchdown. That's John Simpson, the Flyer, a perfect hit. So John Simpson takes that touchdown pass, and that was to perfection. 19-7 Baylor. Simpson, 3 catches, 117 yards. Not a bad average.
He's got that speed. World-class sprinter.
Wow, that was a great play by Carlson, the quarterback. He pulled up. The pressure was there. He pulled up inside of the pressure and still got the ball close enough to Simpson for him to catch it.
They're going to go for the 2-point conversion as Cody Carlson stays in as the quarterback, and he throws for the 2 points, and Matt Clark is wide open, and they get it.
Gee, it didn't look like anybody on the LSU team went out to cover him. He was just a wide receiver right downfield, and there was nobody wide enough to be out there with him. Simple play. Great execution. See the formation. This is a touchdown. You can see it's a little half bootleg. Carlson sets up, drills the ball inside, and it's a marvelous timing again. And Simpson makes the catch beautifully. And we take one more look at it. He holds up, bingo, he was rushed, but he drills it right between the 2 defenders for the score.
Extra point, 2-point conversion. LSU, they wanted to get to 21, make it a 2-touchdown spread. And Carlson, this is like taking candy from a baby. Carlson just turns around and throws it out. Looked like there might have been a screen. Nobody even lined up with Clark. And I think maybe LSU so unhappy about getting a touchdown scored on him, forgot about the extra point.
142 yards, 9 plays in that drive. And so John Simpson, a big night, 3 catches over 100 yards, the touchdown reception. Baylor leading it now by 2 touchdowns. And we'll kick it off here with 10 minutes and 42 seconds left. There's the drive. 4 minutes, 3 seconds.
In this half, Merle Baylor has had the ball 14 minutes and 36 seconds. LSU only 4 minutes and 42 seconds, and there's 10:42 left to play. So it's been total dominance this half by the Baylor team.
Here comes the kickoff, and Miller belts it downfield. A line drive shot out of the end zone. LSU will play it on its own 20. We're delighted to be bringing you the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl Classic on Raycom Sports, and here's what's happened in the second half when LSU has had the ball.
And that's why they've only had the ball for 4 minutes and 42 seconds.
First and 10 on the 20 for the Tigers. Bill Arnsparger has done an outstanding job. My goodness, what he did to turn the program around. Last year took the Tigers to the Sugar Bowl. This year back in another bowl game. A draw coming to Hilliard. Hilliard going up to the 25 to make it 2nd down and 5 as Jack Hurd, the strong safety, makes the tackle on the play. You know, one of the things, Wickersham has not gone to Mitch Andrews, his tight end, who has caught 34 balls this year for 277 yards, and that's Kuti, the center, who is injured there. But you kind of wonder, where is that tight end tonight?
I would say that this is probably the worst injury they could get, because Kuti is a freshman. He's played some at guard, some at center, has played enough all year. You couldn't call him a real pure rookie, but now the man coming in has not played.
So Kuti, who had replaced Albergamo, and now it is Ray Brock, the junior from Beaverton, Oregon, who will come on to do the snapping. First downs this half, Baylor 15, LSU 0.
The point you made about the tight end, I think, is a good one, Merle. Tight end, if you flex him a little bit, is usually an easy throw when he can get inside that linebacker and hook up in a zone. Not a tough pass to complete, and it is kind of strange that LSU has not thrown it.
2nd and 5, and the pitch going to Hilliard, and Hilliard runs out of property. He's short of a first down, I believe, by about a yard.
Be a breakthrough if they make the first down, since they haven't made one this half.
Got a short yardage play coming up on 3rd down. Ray Brock opened the season as a 3rd-string center, and right now he is the man. So it is 3rd down coming up for LSU.
It's hard to say how much the loss of Albergamo hurt the running game here, but they certainly haven't run and they have in the past, so you have to figure he was a big cog.
Going for the first down, Hilliard has it with plenty to spare. Out across the 35, and the ball will be marked at the 35-yard line. That is the first down of this half for LSU.
Pretty good blocking over there on the right side. Andelsek and Hazard opened up a nice big hole. There was a lot of room there. I think Hilliard almost fell down on his own. He was so surprised.
He was so determined to make the first down and was driving so hard that he had too much weight forward and fell.
The number 2 defensive line is now in for Baylor, as Wickersham looks and fires, and this time connects with Wendell Davis. His wide receiver to the midfield stripe, and Anthony Coleman and Thomas Everett cover him after a 15-yard pickup to the sophomore from Shreveport.
And Wickersham drops back as we look at the right side of the screen. Davis, he simply finds a little spot inside of the linebacker, looks the ball in, and turns upfield to pick up another first down for LSU.
I was watching Davis on that play, the tight end. Mitch Andrews, the tight end, and he hooked up right in the middle of 2 linebackers and was covered.
Wickersham pitching, and Dalton Hilliard running, where he runs into Jamison and Coleman for the Baylor defense, and the ball will be spotted on the Baylor 47-yard line.
We've talked all night about how the receivers haven't really been helping Wickersham, how they don't run out their patterns and don't come back to him. Now this is Davis, and I don't know what that's supposed to be, a block or a pattern or what, but it's certainly not gonna get the defender nervous, because he was just kind of jogging out there.
2nd and 7, Wickersham throwing over the middle, completed to Mitch Andrews. There's the tight end, number 83, the 6'3", 230-pound senior from Houma, Louisiana.
It seems like he does the same thing he did when I said he was covered. He runs to the linebackers. They've been dropping in the hook zones. He runs to the linebackers and he hooks up in between them. It seems like he should slide past the linebackers, try to find an open spot. but he's been just staying there. He finds the linebackers and hooks up in between them, and I'm not surprised Wickersham hasn't thrown him the ball.
Third down inches for LSU. Down by 2 touchdowns. Hilliard has the first down with about 3-4 yards to spare, and Alan Jamison, the middle linebacker from Houston, stops him. Ray Brock, the center, did a good job blocking up front on that play, and Hilliard gets the first down.
Certainly come to life since Brock has come in. They've run the ball a little bit better.
And this is the LSU attack that we expected to see the whole game. Good balance between the pass and the run.
There's some time left in this one.
Davis goes to the right side, Martin to the left side. Here comes the blitz, and Wickersham fires. It is incomplete. Oh, he had a man wide open, Mitch Andrews. And he was really open.
Tried to hit the wide receiver. This is one of the few times that Baylor has come with the blitz, as we see the linebacker coming through and watch the secondary drop. There's not going to be much time to put the ball in the air, and it's man-for-man coverage. However, the receiver that was breaking to the outside was wide open, and had there been time enough to get the ball to him, it could have been a big gain.
Andrews, he crossed right in front of the linebacker, and the linebacker let him go without hitting him, and I think that's why he was open.
On 2nd down and 10, again they show blitz, and this time Hilliard on the draw is up across down across the 35 and down about the 32-yard line, and Alan Jamison, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle. Wickersham, 10 out of 23, 92 yards, 1 interception, and here is the man who has passed for 6,921 career yards at LSU.
Baylor came with the blitz again that time, and when you are blitzing, somebody better make the tackle, and they did have the one man, yet the one arm on him, or he'd had a big gain.
Jones has replaced James now as the tailback, and it's Hilliard on the pitch, and he is brought down at the 31 by Thomas Everett. Good tackle by Everett, the All-American from Dangerfield, Texas.
What they do so well, Baylor, is they stay at home and they keep their leverage. Baylor, they had a man shoulder to shoulder across the field, and when he turned back up, there was nothing there. Everett was standing right there. They had this whole side of the field covered. They had a green shirt shoulder to shoulder to the sideline. It's good defense.
Everett's been a remarkable player. He's had 72 tackles, 38 unassisted, a total of 110 tackles this season.
On 4th and 5, they got to go 2 touchdowns behind, and let's see if they're going to be able to get it. Hilliard short of the first down. Ray Berry, the linebacker, stops him, along with Ron Francis, the left quarterback, and Baylor will take over.
That gives the Baylor fans and the Baylor squad a tremendous lift. It appeared that LSU really had the ball moving.
6 minutes, 58 seconds left to play in the ball game. Baylor a 2-touchdown lead. Back from these messages from your local stations on the Raycom Sports Network. .6:58 to go in the Liberty Bowl Classic in Memphis. Merle Harmon along with Bud Wilkinson, Kevin Kiley. We hope you've enjoyed Raycom's telecast tonight. Executive producer Don McGuire and director Lonnie Dale giving us some great shots and that great halftime show, and we're delighted to be with you here in Memphis. First down Baylor. Tom Mickey back in at quarterback, goes to Jackie Ball. He is met by Michael Brooks, 94, the All-America linebacker.
What a job by Brooks. Brooks is what I would have liked to have been. He does it all himself here. Now he takes on the lead blocker, great position. Look at me, sheds the lead blocker, not much of a block, but then he comes up and makes the tackle. 94, Michael Brooks. Another year, and then somebody's going to make him a #1 pick.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. I'm just thinking, pro scouts and pro coaches watching tonight are saying, oh boy, is he going to be something?
He's a Lawrence Taylor type. He's about 230 and as quick as a cat.
2nd and 12 for Tom Mickey and the Baylor Bears. And this play doesn't go any place because Darrell Phillips, 62, the nose guard, is all over Jackie Ball, who took the handoff. The #2 offensive line is in there right now for Baylor with Palmer, Stewart, Elmore, Bateman, and Robinson on the inside as the clock ticks away in the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl. What an outstanding show the Liberty Bowl committee has put on tonight, and also throughout the week here, the Christmas week. It's just been, the hospitality's been unbelievable. Both teams talking about how much they've enjoyed it here in Memphis, and this whole city is involved in this project, and it is sensational. Here is Mickey rolling right, and finally throwing to Douglas, but he was out of bounds when he caught the ball. Rehaj on the coverage.
Once again, it was a great execution by Mickey. Just ran out of field. It was the bootleg play. He had a long time to throw the ball, and his receiver had moved too wide laterally before he delivered it.
Mickey, 9 of 18, 113 yards in the ball game. And the punting unit is on with Bucky Sawyer, and Norman Jefferson will be back deep.
How about now, Coach? You go after this one?
Yes.
High snap. Ooh, they almost got it. And the ball takes a roll out of bounds at about the 36-yard line.
You didn't waste any time saying yes on that one, did you?
I didn't have time to.
A 35-yard punt. Baylor leading at 21-7, and we have 5:28 left to play. We'll be right back. For the last play, and a 5-yard walk-off. Let's get the call. Well, we don't get the call. But Baylor will punt the ball again. It'll be 4th down and 4.
Procedure.
So at the 34-yard line, Baylor will get another shot at it. We're happy to welcome Federal Express as a new Raycom sponsor tonight, and Mike Glenn, the Vice President of Marketing, and his party here enjoying the ball game this evening. Welcome aboard, Mike. All right, we'll do it again. Norman Jefferson has dropped back deep for LSU, and Buzzy Sawyer, who had a 70-yard kick this year against Texas A&M.
Yeah,
8th in the NCAA this year.
10 men getting ready to rush again.
They almost got that last one. Sawyer gets it out of there. And the fair catch call for and taken at the 35-yard line for LSU, and that's where they'll put it in play. We've got a timeout. Baylor leading it 21-7. Mickey Guidry is coming at quarterback for LSU as he'll put the Tigers in play at their own 35-yard line. Sends a wide out to each side. And Guidry dropping right back to throw, and does, and completes it to Victor Jones out of the backfield for short yardage. Ray Berry, the linebacker who had the assignment, the coverage assignment, makes the hit. Mickey Guidry, a freshman from Marrero, Louisiana.
And threw it to a freshman.
Yep.
Yeah, he threw for almost 2,000 yards his senior year in high school. The kid can throw the ball. Hasn't had much of an opportunity, as you see by that graphic, but this could be his day.
2nd down, 7. Guidry looks to the near side, throws it to Jones again, and this combination got to the line of scrimmage, and Jones broke a tackle and gets across the 40 to the 42, and Ray Crockett, the left cornerback, also a freshman from Duncanville, Texas, makes the tackle. Look at these numbers.
Well, the last time that happened to LSU was against Mississippi State. It was another option offense, and as I said, Mississippi State rushed for 214 yards, but it was a passing game that really took off, and the same thing happened today. The rush, they were good enough on the ground to make that passing game go, and it's gone.
3rd down, 3 for Mickey Guidry. Guidry with some time, throws it over the middle, incomplete. The intended receiver was Wendell Davis, number 82, and it's 4th down coming up for LSU. We want to thank our spotters, Arthur Trish Jr. of LSU, Jeff Sims of Baylor, our men on the sideline, Lee Friday, Don McDevitt, and our statistician, Marty Arnoff. Thank you, gentlemen. Super job tonight.
And once again, the pressure was just too quick. Guidry did not have time to deliver the ball. The receivers did not have an opportunity to run their patterns.
They did a nice job here on Davis, too. They slowed him down coming off the line, and had he not been slowed down, he might have been able to get out there for that pass.
Matt DeFrank is back to do the kicking for LSU. On 4th down and 4, he belts it downfield, end over end. Fair catch called for and taken by Thomas Everett at the 25-yard line. So we have 4:04 left to play in the 27th Annual Liberty Bowl. Baylor is leading LSU by a score of 21-7. And we'll be back after this message from GMC Truck. It's 21-7, 4:04 to play in the Liberty Bowl. From Memphis, Tennessee, Merle Herman along with Bud Wilkinson and Kevin Kiley. We want to wish you the happiest of holiday seasons as this holiday season continues, and a Happy New Year coming up to you. Here come the Baylor Bears, and Simpson will go wide to the left side. Rutledge and Perry are the running backs. And it's Rutledge who is finally brought down at about the 30-yard line, getting 5 yards on the play. Rutledge, a junior from Belgrade, Florida.
Great individual effort by Rutledge on that play. Had he not kept his body weight low and been underneath the men who were trying to tackle him, he probably wouldn't have made anything. Picked up 5 yards just with his own individual brilliance.
Rutledge, 8 carries, 31 yards. One thing about the Baylor running backs, Derek McAdoo has 369 yards, and that's the most yards of any running back. But they have spread it out over 8 men. Rutledge, with his 31 yards, is the leading rusher tonight. It's Rutledge again. Not too much on this one, about the 33. Toby Caston, 69, the weak side linebacker from Monroe, Louisiana, on the hit. Now we're down near the 3-minute mark.
This is the first time all night that Baylor has become predictable. Last 2 series, they ran the ball first 2 plays, and then they passed incomplete and punted on the last series, but here we have 3rd down again.
3rd down, about 2. Matt Clark splits out wide to the left side.
I thought they'd be in the tandem, but they're not.
And in motion goes Ben Baker. Charles Perry, first down Baylor to the 38. Toby Caston, the weak side linebacker, makes the tackle. Boy, this guy has been very active, and we've talked a lot about Michael Brooks, and we should. He's everybody's All-America. And you mentioned earlier, Kevin, that Toby Caston plays in the shadow of Michael Brooks. He's a junior from Monroe, but he is an outstanding linebacker.
These guys are bookends. One 6'1", 228. The other, according to the book, is 6'1", 228. And they're both fast, and they just play great football, and they'll both be back next year for LSU.
9 Baylor ball carriers tonight have gained 172 yards. Perry, the freshman, to the 45, and short of a first down by a couple is Oliver Lawrence, number 99, a freshman out of Monroe, Louisiana. Outside linebacker making the hit for the Tigers.
That's that deep counter play that Baylor has run very effectively. I think that's the 4th time they've used it. They picked good yardage on it each time. It's designed to go back to the short side of the nose guard.
It is a 2nd down and 3. And we have 1 minute 58 seconds left to play in the ball game as the clock is stopped on the field. Baylor is leading LSU by a score of 21-7. Eastern Airlines.
I know.
Charles Perry. Perry for a first down across midfield into LSU territory where Toby Caston and Oliver Lawrence stop him. So Baylor running the clock, leading 21-7. 1 minute 53 seconds left to play in the ball game.
And that was the same cutback play that they ran on the down just previous. And I guess when you've got something that's going that well, you stay right with it.
Scott Works, a sophomore from Texarkana, Texas, has come in as a running back. What does that make? 10 running backs now that they've used this evening?
They all look alike. They're all great.
Mickey, this is Works, who just came in, and he gets down to the 45-yard line. And the clock now at 1 minute 25 seconds remaining.
I think the great thing about the Baylor program is that they play everyone. They play a lot of players, and speaking with Coach Taff, he said that the enthusiasm level is so high on this team because everybody knows they're going to come in and play, and people improve a lot faster. And if you ever needed proof, you've seen it tonight. I mean, they've run in a lot of players, and their efficiency level has not dropped one single bit against one of the great defenses in the country. And all these guys know the formations. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They run the plays, and they make it work. And I think that's testimony to a pretty good program at Baylor.
Grant writes a letter to each of his players each week. That's very time-consuming when you got 75 letters a week to analyze their performance in the previous game that they have played. Did they measure up to as good as they could be, or were they below it? Or what, in addition, can their options be to get better? And how do you get better? And it's that type of communication that gives this Baylor team the great execution that they have.
That running play doesn't get too much as the defense reacts. You looked at Michael Brooks a moment ago on the bench. Timeout is called by LSU now to stop the clock with 1 minute 15 seconds left to play. You know, it's just amazing what Bill Arnsparger has been able to do at LSU in the 2 years. He completely turned the program around last year, and you just don't think of that happening in one season. And yet LSU wound up in the Sugar Bowl. Here they are right back again in a bowl game this year. This man's won 17 games in the first 2 years in a rebuilding program.
And at the moment, he's very disappointed.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think he knows that the worst thing you can do to a defense is confuse them. If your defense is not absolutely sure where they're going to go on the first step, having been a defensive player, and you're frozen even for a second, you're easy prey for the blockers. And I believe that the Baylor offensive plan tonight and the execution is really unparalleled. I have not seen Baylor this year, and I can't believe they ran as many plays as they did. And if I'd have been out there playing defense, I'd have been going in circles. And I believe that they froze that LSU defense enough to move the ball and dominate in the second half and keep it away from the LSU offense.
Keep changing the formation. They're looking at a different formation each time.
Baylor with 88 plays, LSU with 55 plays tonight. And the new quarterback is Charlie Lewis, number 9, the freshman from Houston. And he is at the 40-yard line. And we have 1:07 left to play in the game. And a 4th down and 6 coming up. Tonight's winners of the Pontiac Most Exciting Players of the 1985 Liberty Bowl are Tom Mickey and Cody Carlson of Baylor University, the tandem quarterback group. Pontiac will contribute $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of Baylor University. Our Pontiac Most Exciting Players of the game, once again, are Tom Mickey and Cody Carlson. Pontiac, we build excitement. 37 seconds remaining. Now, a moment ago, I talked about the job that Bill Arnsparger has done. And what about this man? His team was picked to finish no better than 7th in the Southwest Conference race this year. He never agreed with that, not even at the beginning of the season. It's getting late, folks. But he never did. I know when the season started, he said, we're not a 7th place team in the Southwest Conference. And he said, you know, when you're picked 7th, that doesn't do too much for your confidence. But, well, the rest, he's won 8, lost 3, and he's on the verge of his 9th victory as the Baylor head coach this year.
Now, this won't hurt his confidence.
Nope.
Very, very close, really, to being a team that could be highly, highly ranked nationally. If they hadn't fumbled the game away, they probably would have beaten Georgia. Follow that by beating Southern California, and they were right on the road.
And they're going to run this one off that deep punt, and they've got the first down going with more to spare as the ball is taken all the way down to the 25-yard line. Johnny Subia, who was back there as a blocker, carried the ball for 21 yards and a first down.
And from a coaching standpoint, you love the luxury of being able to run off punt formation, and if it doesn't work, you know it's not going to affect the outcome of the game to any great degree.
How about the only thing we haven't seen is a quick kick, but we still got 21 seconds to go.
21 seconds remaining. Baylor has locked up the 27th annual Liberty Bowl. You know, Alabama played in the first one, Coach Bear Bryant, and his last game as a head coach was right here 3 years ago. Alabama beating Illinois. And of course, it was soon after that the shocking news came that the Bear had passed away. This carry goes to the freshman running back, Scott Works, number 35. He's at about the 25-yard line, as we apparently have seen the last play of the ball game as the clock ticks down. And Baylor has defeated the LSU Tigers by a score of 21-7 in the 27th annual Liberty Bowl. And Grant Tapp gets that ride that all coaches love.
There's just nothing that feels the same.
So, a win for Baylor, 21-7, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.